In honor of Earth Day, let us take a moment to recognize the wonders and beauty of our home planet. A very good morning to one and all present here. Myself, Vaishnavi Sharma from MSc Chemistry. A very warm welcome to all the respected teachers, dignitaries, guests, and dear friends. Today, we gather here to celebrate together Earth Day, the day dedicated to our beautiful planet and which reminds us of our duty to conserve, preserve, and to protect it. Now, I would like to invite Harshika Rana from MSc Mathematics Department for Saraswati Vandana.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारिहारे धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्मा चतुशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहम् शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारिताय परमां आद्यां जगत्यापिनीं वीणापुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदाम् जाड्यान्धकारापहम् हस्ते स्फटिकमालिका विदधति पद्मासने संस्थितां वन्दे तां परमेश्वरी भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदाम् Pradam Sharadam.
Thank you, Harshika. Harshika, try to turn on your video, please.
Thank you, Harshika. Now, I invite Dr. Pankaj Kumar sir for welcome address.
Thank you, Vaishnavi and Ishaka. Welcome. A very good morning to all of you. I am delighted to welcome each and every one of you to this special event on behalf of Shakumbhari University. It is truly an honor to convey today's program on the occasion of World Earth Day 2025 and a focused academic workshop on dissertation writing and data analysis. We are also honored by the gracious presence of our chief guest, Professor Vimla Bai, our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Shakumbhari University, whose leadership has continuously supported us in interdisciplinary learning and innovative academic outreach. At the outset, I extend a warm welcome to our distinct guest of honor and speakers. We are privileged to have with us for our special day. We welcome Professor Dinesh Bhatt sir, who is Professor Emeritus at Gurukul Kangri University, who is also our guest of honor for today's program. We welcome Professor Bhupender Singh sir from CCS University Meerut, who will guide us through data analysis using our software, and Professor Mili Pant ma'am from IIT Roorkee Saharanpur campus, who will discuss the fundamentals of data analysis. We have with us Dr. Sarup Datta, the very first speaker from Terry School of Advanced Studies, New Delhi, who will focus on the structure of dissertation writing. The theme of today's workshop is based on two critical needs, which are reinforcing our shared obligation towards sustainable living on Mother Earth and enhancing research skills among young scholars. World Earth Day reminds us that the sustainability of knowledge must go hand in hand with the sustainability of life on this planet. Also, writing a dissertation is not merely an academic milestone, but it is a journey that develops critical thinking, structure, expression, and a scientific foundation. To all our participants, students, research scholars, and faculty members from across disciplines, I thank you all for your presence and interest in this event. I request each of you to actively engage in today's session, ask questions, take notes, and explore ways to apply the knowledge in your ongoing work. Before we begin, please remain on mute during the presentations unless invited to speak. You may use the chat box to raise questions, which will be taken up after each talk. Attendance will be recorded and e-certificates will be issued to the attending participants only. With that, I once again welcome you all to this event. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ishaka.
Thank you, sir. Earth Day is celebrated every year on 22nd April to promote awareness about environmental issues and encourage actions that help us to protect our planet. Once again, a very welcome to each one of you present. Let us take this day meaningful and memorable. Now, it's my honor and privilege to welcome Dr. Swaroop Datta sir, who have joined us to share their insight and expertise on Earth Day. Please share your screen, sir. Dr. Swaroop Datta sir is an assistant professor in Department of Policy and Management Studies. He is also a program coordinator of MA in Sustainable Development Practice in Tehri School of Advanced Studies, New Delhi, India. He has 18 years of experience in teaching. His expertise lies in the area of environmental anthropology, agriculture anthropology, and agriculture scaling and descaling, political ecology, resource conflict, caste and gender inequality, and ethnic identity. He has published reputed articles and journals and has 3H index and up to 3 I-10 index. Sir has been honored by Young Faculty Award, Best Education Award, Bharat Gaurav Puraskar Award in 2022, and Certificate of Excellence. He has also performed in national television, Doordarshan, and All India Radio. So please share your views.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
You are,
Yes,
yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Just a minute. So, very good morning, everyone. And it is my privilege to have a session with a very prestigious university. And I'm going to talk about a very important matter for any research scholars and the master's thesis. And that is the dissertation writing structure. So basically, my half an hour session will be very important and eye-opening for all of you who are currently writing your thesis. And of course, it will be very interesting. And if you have any questions, you can ask me after the presentation. So let's start the presentation. Just to give just an information that I'm an anthropologist, a social anthropologist, and I'm also from the science background. And probably I'll be able to guide you more if you have any questions on the thesis writing structure. So within that limited time, my apology is that it will be very difficult to cover the entirety of it, but I will try to address all questions, whatever you think is important for your query. Now let us have a very important part, that is a thesis. What is thesis? It is an important step of for graduating from any university. You have a generic structure which is there, which I'm going to talk about now, the structure of thesis writing. And number 3 is it's a format of the thesis according to the requirements of the university. That means that each and every university has a very different structure. Okay. And your university will decide up to what extent you can write your thesis, and what is the page numbers, what could be the page numbers, what could be your, what could be the illustrations and table of contents and everything that will be decided. But there are some kind of general content structure which actually help us to see how we can navigate our dissertation writing. Let's start with that basic structure. Please look at the structure. This is very, very important for any kind of thesis writing, dissertation writing, or whatsoever you call, even a minor research project, major research project, final year thesis, whatsoever the research is. But this is a very generic structure of any research. So we start with the title page, that is the cover page, and then table of contents, acknowledgement, abstract, introduction, literature review, methodology, result, analysis and discussion, conclusion, appendices and references. I mean, this is a very generic structure, and this is you can see it's a very wholesome approach when we talk about the format of the thesis. So I'm not excluding any of the contents because I recommend all of you to write on this format. Now look at this first page. So my PhD scholar who recently submitted his PhD, and look at this title page. So first of all, it is the title is Assessment of Sustainability of Shifting Cultivation in Nagaland, and you have to write that it's a synopsis. So I'm just in place of synopsis, you can write it PhD thesis submitted by the person name, and then research scholar enrollment number, then the logo, and then supervisor's name, co-supervisor's name, and the Department of Sustainable Engineering and department and university name, and so on. So this is the way that you have to write, right? So you have to make a very presentable format. So every university has its own format to write the title page. So please follow the title page. So name of your advisor, your institute, your topic, everything has to be very crystal clear, bold, and there has to be proper font size for writing the title page. Please follow this up. I am giving you how to write a good title page. So if you look at this example, the example says, effects of a program for nutritional supplementation of malaria morbidity in children under 5 years hyper-endemic area for malaria in Delhi. Now let me dissect this entire title. So if you look at the title gives you a very direct relationship, that is a functional relationship between dependent and independent variables, right? And in that case, if you look at the area of research, which is clearly written, that is in Delhi, where it's a hyper-endemic, it's very specific to hyper-endemic area for malaria in Delhi. So the area needs to be identified, and then you can talk about which population that you are currently working, that is under 5 year children, and then malarial morbidity. That's what you want to do, and want to understand that how the effect of certain government program impacted on the malarial morbidity under 5 year in the hyper-endemic area. So very crystal clear title. Nobody will question, and this title will be there should be direct link with the aim of your research, right? It should be very concise and extremely descriptive in nature, and it should be very catchy as well. So these 3 points is very important. Number one, it should be very concise and to the point. It should be descriptive, where you can make a kind of relationship between dependent and independent variables, and it should be very catchy when you write. So sometimes I personally seen that the students unable to write a proper title, and which makes the readers very confused. What exactly the students want to say? What would be their idea? What is the objective of the research? It's not very clearly visible within. The title itself will tell you the details of aim of the study, and a little bit of objective it should reflect. Now let's start with the next part, that is the table of contents. Now, table of contents is something which is very, very critical. Why? Because this will navigate the readers to go about how the reader should read it. Okay, starting from introduction, then the research methodology, and so on. right? So there should be a proper column for it. There are many softwares now. There is the Word, there is also a table of content page. You can see that how you can write it, and based on the page numbers, right? So one has a list of sections alongside the serial numbers, and the section should be in a proper order, and the third column should give the page numbers. So page number is very, very important, and you have to continuously recheck your page number even till the end of your thesis writing, and that is a very important part. Just look at this next slide. If you look at this slide, you'll be able to see the contents. Okay, so first is the abbreviations, abstract, introduction, review of literature, research methodology, and the factors and drivers of shifting cultivation practices. Say, for example, this is what my student has done, and then each and every factor has written in here, and then discussion result in number 6 and number 7 references, and then you go for the list of table, list of abbreviation, whatsoever you want to do it, right? So this is how, and if you look at this one side, another side, that is the page number is written properly. So page number is very important, and that guides the student, the readers, to make a proper understanding of each and every topic. So within the topic, so don't write only the topic. You can also go for the subtopic. For example, you're talking about the review of literature. I'm talking of the sustainability assessment of the shifting cultivation. So even here, the review of literature, you see that there are complete thematic a review of literature, right? For example, if I'm talking about the review of literature, you were just putting review of literature page number 1, and you were ending the review of literature the page number 25 or 30 or 40 or 50, whatsoever be the number. But even if you're not writing anything within that, what is the themes of your research? Irrespective of any discipline, I think there should have a kind of thematic literature review. In the thematic literature review, where you are actually talking about, say, for example, here in this sense, you are talking about the shifting cultivation practices in Nagaland, challenges of the shifting cultivations in Nagaland, overview of the existing sustainability assessment methods, assessment of the sustainability of the shifting cultivation, research gaps, rationale of and the significance of the study for this. So that is how you are writing the literature review. And then, of course, you're talking about the research methodology, where you are talking about the objective of the research, aim and scope of the study, and so on, then factors and drivers. So one by one, in each and every content title should have a proper heading, and without the heading will not be able to go ahead. And finally, you can go for the discussion and results, and conclusion and references. Now, second part is very important, when many of us actually don't follow, but you really need to write a proper acknowledgement page. And this acknowledgement page is very, very important. You should acknowledge all those individual who are the part and parcel of your research journey, starting from your parents, so your supervisors, your friends, your fieldwork people, your lab assistant, your lab people, everyone, it should be mentioned, and that a kind of gratitude towards them, because this gratitude is important, and because this gratefulness towards those people is very, very important. So acknowledgement page, please do not skip this page, because this is very, very important for those who actually helped you for your research journey. Now, coming to the abstract page. Now, abstract page is very critical. Why? Because abstract page gives you a very brief idea, or you can talk about the summary of your thesis. The summary of your thesis will start from the objective of your research, a little bit of methodology of it, and then you are talking about you will start with the research problem statement, and then you can give the objective, then you can give the findings and results. A very concise way you can write the findings, and then you can make the abstract, maybe say around 500 to 800 words. So, and in this way, because you don't put too much of in the abstract, at least 1.5 pages is sufficient for it. And very important part, don't forget to write the keywords when you write the abstracts. Okay, the keyword is very essential. For example, in my case, it is shifting cultivation, sustainability assessment, socio-cultural dynamics, and so on. So these keywords are very, very critical. So don't forget to write the keywords after writing the paragraphs of the abstracts. Okay, and if you look at each and every paragraph, it contains certain meanings. So for the first paragraph, I'm talking about what my thesis suggests. In the second paragraph, I'm talking about what exactly I want to say in this entire my main argument, or you can say central thesis statement, and then I can go for a little bit of findings, what I have found in my thesis and how I'm going to present it. So that gives you a reader to understand the entirety of the thesis. Now let us start with a very important part, that is introduction. Now introduction is something which gives you a kind of when a reader first read your introduction, the examiner will be able to understand what is there in the thesis. If the introduction is not written properly, and if there is a lot of mistakes and there are a lot of problems in the problem formulation, so you are done with the thesis. So in the introduction part, you really have to take care of it. First, it is an initial pitch, so you have to be a thorough examination of the significance of research problem. And after reading the introduction, your reader should not only have the understanding what you want to do, but they should also be able to gain a sense of your passion for the topic and be excited about the study's possible outcome. So basically, introduction is something you would like to introduce to the readers or the academician that this is what I want to do. This is a problem area that I want to begin with. So this is how you introduce your topic. For example, if I'm talking about the climate change impact on agriculture in middle Gangetic Plain. Now, it's a very generic. So first, what I will do, I will write, it's not there, but I'm just telling you, I'm exemplifying you. For example, you are talking about the climate change and its impact on agriculture. Now, there are lots of research articles, there are lots of researches there on agriculture, but which crop you are talking about? Are you talking about wheat? Are you talking about, say, rice? So if I say the impact of climate change on rice cultivation in middle Gangetic Plain or say lower Gangetic Plain, okay, that makes sense for me. A case of, say, South 24 Parganas or North 24 Parganas in West Bengal, or maybe in Kanpur or any other state, in any other region of the central Gangetic Plain. So you, in that way, you have to focus on the. So you starting with the relationship between climate change and agriculture. Then you see climate change, agriculture, and rice cultivation. So this relationship is you have to continuously build in the introduction, and then it will lead to the research problem. Okay, there is a problem, like a lot of research has been done in climate change and agriculture issues, but lack of research has been done on research has done on the climate change agriculture or its impact on the small scale farmers, rice cultivators. In that way, you can bring your research into the point. So the research works towards providing your thesis statement. So thesis statement, which is it's the term that we use. You must have noticed that in any research paper, when you read the introduction, a statement needs to be written. What else you want to say? What you want to say in that particular paper? In the introduction, so you have to make a kind of objective. So thesis statement is all about a kind of golden thread where you're talking about objective research methodology and a kind of significance of your research in that statement. Right. So introduction also contains initial thoughts pertaining to research, gives a reader context, might explain the motivation to write the thesis and chosen topic, and the things to be achieved in your thesis need to be mentioned in your introduction. Now, for the introduction, how are you going to write that? It's not that easy to write. First, give a necessary background of your problem, of your research. So, for example, as I'm talking about the climate change and agriculture. So just to see the relationship in how climate change impact on agricultural productivity. Simple, just giving you an example of it. Then framing a larger research problem, one of the most important tasks to complete, because larger research problem is not impact of climate change on agriculture. The problem of the larger research problem would be the climate change, agriculture, a very specific crop, say climate change and its impact on agriculture with special attention to rice cultivation. right? Currently, say I'm working on climate change and agriculture, especially in the saffron cultivated in Kashmir, and I wanted to understand how the climate change is impacting on the saffron cultivations, and what are the other sociological and ecological and political factors which is impacting, and what is the supply chain issues that is farmers are facing in Kashmir when it comes to the saffron cultivation. So all this larger research problem needs to be identified in the introduction, what we call the overarching research problem. Those who are writing the writing my things, so please write it down: overarching research problem statement. And this problem statement gives you a kind of hand holding to those who are first reading your paper or is it reading your thesis. So there is no hard and fast rule for it, but you have to make a kind of a prescription writing opening paragraphs. It's a kind of how you write creatively. Creative thinking, creative writing is very important at the very initial part of your research. I will tell you just in my thesis how I started. I started with because I worked in Punjab, and my area was in the Punjab agriculture in the southern part of Punjab. And I started with how I look at Punjab agriculture as a whole, and how the overall, how the Punjab agriculture is down with the agrarian crisis. So this is my initial pitch. So this I have to creatively write this introduction. Now, state research problem, which is often referred as a purpose of the study. Okay, because if you do not state the research problem statement properly, initial problem statement properly, you will not be able to do it. Sub problems you can do it later on, but dependent and independent variables you can also put it here. And the rationale of the research is also very, very important, because rationale, that means significance, why your research is important, why this research is a research worthy, why people will take your research very seriously. Because no one put grass on you if you do not want to produce a kind of justification that this is why I want to do my research. Now, coming to the second point, I think each and every individual is here. They all know that this is the backbone of any research, is the review of literature. If you do not go for a proper review of literature, you will not arrive. You are not going to arrive with a research problem statement. That is the research gap and problem statement. You will not be able to do it. So a thematic literature review is very, very critical here. And this section can be either the part of an introduction or separate from it. That is up to you. It's entirely up to you. If you want to put in the review of literature in the introduction chapter, you can also put it, but your introduction will be quite bigger, like 15-20 pages. If you want to keep introduction, say 4 pages, and then go for the literature review, say another 15-20 pages, that's also doable. So my suggestion would be to separate. This is my personal suggestion. You can take it in your own way. You should write the literature review as a separate chapter, and there you are going to mention about your the research asking insights, whatever you want to do in your research literature, and how you want to produce your research literatures, and what are the source of your literature, right? Sometimes literature review is incorporated in the introduction, but most of the professors ask to separate for it. Ensure that you are not reinventing the wheel. Give credit to those who have laid to the groundwork. That's the proper citation is very important. And if you do not give proper citation, you are done, because you will be under the plagiarism and you will be under the similarity index, which more than 10%, your thesis will be rejected. So be careful about this. And most of the Indian students, when I was talking to the same topic of the IITs and IIMs, I also found that students are very much worried about the plagiarism and the similarity index. So this is how I am going to write a proper literature review without having a similarity index. I said, look, you have to do one thing. You actually have to do a lot of paraphrasing the term that we use. And what we do, say, for example, Gupta 2013 has mentioned this. You're just copying it and pasting it and then putting the citation. It's not going to work. You have to change the entire language in your own way, and not changing the contour of the or the context of that particular phrase, but you have to change the language, and then you write this incorporated into the review of literature. So it is a tedious task, so be careful about this. without which it is not able to possible. You will not be able to write any thesis. So this is the backbone of your thesis. So need to formulate your theoretical framework based on the existing literatures, and critical evaluation is very important. What we call every literature review needs to have a critical review. You are not going to write a summary. Summary is not required, because summary is just a small excerpt of whatever you want to do, or whatever you have read, and whatever you want to say out of it. It's not going to be the summary. It should be a critical evaluation of that particular document or particular paper or particular paragraph. This is a five C's what you should follow. That is during the literature review. That is cite, compare, contrast, critique, and connect. You have to cite every time. You have to compare whose argument it is, theories, methodologies, findings expressed in the literature, and what do the authors agree on, who applies similar approaches of the analyzing the research problem, and how you can make the contrasting views of this, the various arguments, themes, methodologies, approaches, controversies expressed in the literature. Somebody says that this is right, and B said that this is wrong, C said that I think that this is absolutely right. So you are making a kind of convergence and divergence in opinion, and contrasting and comparing the entire debate of that particular area, and want to write it and want to understand it. And then you are bringing the critical part of it. Which argument is more persuasive, and you think it is very important, you think it is not required. What is your opinion about it? So your opinion matters, yes. Indeed, sometimes people do not give their opinion into the literature review. As a result, they fail to address the research gap. So critical part where your research gap, from here itself, your research gap will automatically come, right? So once you are done with it, then you connect with your research investigation, and then you can proceed for the larger research problem statement, and then objective of your research and methodology. So these 5 C's are very, very important: cite, compare, contrast, critique, and connect. Now, what is the problem you may face during the literature review process? That is the lacking of organization. So please, my suggestion would be to go for a thematic literature review, understand the structure and focus, unity and coherence. These are the 4 important things. Organization, structure, focus, unity, and coherence is very, very critical. Being repetitive and verbose, sometimes we tend to repeat the context or the ideas. Please reread your literature review before submission, so that you check the verbals, you check the repetitions, and you can omit it accordingly, you can remove it accordingly. And number 3, the failing to search the influential papers. So you need at least 3 to 4 papers in your entire research journey, which is very, very influential in terms of the publication, in terms of their the argument, and it should be the Bible for you. And this paper should be helpful for your entire thesis. Say, for example, in my research time, when I was doing my research, I have only 2 papers in my hand, which becomes a Bible for me. When I was doing the agricultural anthropology, I understood that I have to bring some paper which is related to the cotton cultivation in Punjab. I was not having any paper which is purely based on agroeconomic or agronomic or agricultural paper, but not from the perspective of agricultural anthropology. But similar kind of studies has been done in Andhra Pradesh by some professor in Washington University. So I contacted him, and I told him, please send your paper. So that 2 papers becomes very, very important for me, for my research, and that is very, very critical for developing my theories as well. So it becomes influential paper for me. That needs to be cited properly. That needs to be clearly mentioned in your research. Failing to keep the recent development of your research field. I remember that during the submission of my research, there is because I was working on the cotton pest and cotton cultivations in Punjab. Before the day I was planning to submit, in the early morning, I saw in the Times of India that there's a breakthrough research has come up from the similar point of view, and there's not research, it's a kind of observation, is that there's a pink bollworm attack in Gujarat cotton and the Punjab cotton farmers. I was not aware of it. It's a very sudden change. So I had to cite it from that, before my submission, I had to incorporate it because in the morning, afternoon, I had a submission. I incorporated 3 lines that recently we got to know. This is, I have also mentioned the date that, I have to, I found the pink bollworm attack is also going on. So we do not know about this thing, but it's a very recent phenomenon. So I'm not incorporating this part in my thesis, but at least it is happening. So we have to keep on identifying your recent development of any research. And finally, the citing the relevant and trivial inferences. The irrelevant inferences please do not give it, because it led to a lot of problems later on. So don't put too much of generalizations. Unnecessary citation is not required. Please see the source of the proper paper and the proper journal. Some predatory journals are also there. Don't cite them. So this kind of rules and regulation you should follow during the literature review process. Now, methodology. The methodology, you are going to talk about how you are going to answer the questions, like, right? So we have in research philosophy, that's why we call it as a doctorate of philosophy, right? So philosophy means there are 3 questions that you're going to ask. First is ontological questions, number 2 epistemological questions, and number 3 methodological questions. The ontological question is a what questions, what you want to study in your research. Methodological question, epistemological questions is basically what is there in your field and why you want to talk about it. And number 3, the methodological questions, which is how you want to talk about it. So this is the basics of any research. So in the methodology, you are going to write how we are going to cover the entire research, what is your agreement or disagreement, and how you're going to conduct your research. It's a lab-based or it is a field-based research whatsoever. And then, of course, in the methodology, you are going to start with the problem statement and the research objective. The problem statement is very, very important. You start with the research approach, problem statement, and that this is what you want to do. And please remember, in the problem statement, you are not going to give any citation. This is your problem statement. This is your idea. Please don't give any citation. It's a small paragraph, say about 100 words of 100 words paragraph, where you are talking about this particular research is done, is important to do this, and there are certain questions. So you can write a statement, problem statement, that this is what you want to do in your research. And then you say, based on the problem statement, you write, this is the objective of my research. And finally, these are the areas. You please check it out, and you can also take a photograph of it. I recommend you, because this is a very important part of any research design. Those who are going for any kind of field-oriented research or maybe the lab-oriented research. For lab-oriented research, you have to go for the protocols, but for the field-oriented research, you have to go for the study area, study population, sample size, data collections, and data analysis plan. If you do not write it within your dissertation, reader will not be able to understand what you want to talk about. What is the study area you are talking about? What is the population? What is the sample? Kind of method, whether you are going for a qualitative research or whether we're going for a quantitative research, and how you have analyzed the data. You want to use the, say, software like R, Python, or you want to go for the NVivo, Atlas TI, whatsoever be the data analysis plan is, you have to clearly mention it in your dissertation. Now, finally, you are talking about the results. I need not to mention it, because results, you have to produce it a very thematic way. You have to put themes, and then you have to put the question tables and graphs, and then you have to make a kind of ordering of it. So ordering is very important here. You know how to do this, because it's important findings next to data observation is here. So for example, you're making a table. Table is there, and from that table, how you're viewing the table, that is the observation of your data, you have to write it. And then what based on the observation, you can make a kind of interpretation and synthesis of the data, and you can churn the data, you can make a kind of correlation, you can use citation, you can use secondary data sources to prove your thoughts. So this is how you have to write your results. It's not one-way process. It's not like only the primary data that you have to produce. Of course, you have to produce the primary data, but during the interpretation, you can also incorporate literatures for this, for your justification. And sometimes we do the mixed method approach. We do the embedded triangulation method. We use the result. We write the result. So this embedded triangulation method, I'm injecting, say, for example, I'm writing the primary database, which is purely quantitative in nature. I want to see some kind of trend analysis. And based on the trend analysis, say, for example, the rainfall pattern of this particular area. So I can see the trend. Number 3, once I see the trend, I can write this is over past 10 years, the Saharanpur is witnessing severe rainfall shortages. Now, somebody has worked on the same topic, and he has written that there is a kind of drought-like situation in the year of, say, 2016 or 17. So you keep these things in your statement, saying that, look, my data saying is this, and I'm also XYZ also mentioned that there's a drought-like situation. So it's actually complementing your results. So it is very important when you write the results. It's not the single-handed you are going to write. What others have said, that justification, and what you think is very, very important. Analysis and discussion. Final part is once your data part is over, your data observation is over, finally you're going for a discussion. Now, discussion, you need to free to analyze this finding, and that is based on your entire opinion and the logical order. Follow the analysis and do not produce the new information. And finally, the conclusion. This is a thesis statement where beginning your conclusion, specify the intention behind the process of the data collection, final thoughts about your thesis, and then don't go generalizing, summing up the entire thesis finding, and then give some kind of generalizations out of it. That this is how I want to, I viewed the certain problem. Appendices, you have to write the thesis which is not required. For example, you want to do some kind of census data, which is not required directly in your main thesis, but you want to put it as a reference, so you can put it in the appendix. So it's not directly connected with your thesis. The different appendices can be created in extra information, and it's up to you up to what extent you can. Tables, graph, charts can be included. Now, reference, you have to follow the APA format. Whatsoever your university allow, you have to go for it, but don't miss this out. Any references, you have to cross verify in-text citation based on the in-text, whether you have referred it in the last reference section or not, and you have to follow only one, either APA or MLA or Harvard or Chicago. So any one of those formats you have to follow. But in scientific writing, APA is the most important or most used citation methods. So I'm done with the things. So if you have any questions, you may ask. So thank you very much for your patience. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ishaka.
Thank you, sir, for your time and to explain the dissertation writing and its structure, as it is very important layout in our research. Your words and information you share are really valuable. Now, we have another guest, Professor Bhupender Singh sir, who graced the occasion with their presence. Professor Bhupender Singh sir is a professor in Department of Statistics in Chaudhry Charan Singh University, Meerut, India. His expertise lies in the area of reliability, statistical quality control, classical and substantial analysis, and applied statistics. He has supervised 4 PhD students. 3 students are doing PhD under his supervision and also supervised 48 MPhil projects. He has published about 38 articles in various reputed journals. He has been designed and developed new courses in advanced basic statistics for MPhil statistics and also computer-oriented statistics methods based on art software for MSc statistics. Please kindly share your screen, sir, and your views.
Am I audible? मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. First of all, thanks to the organizing team for inviting me to deliver the lecture in this conference. Over next 40 minutes, I will explain you how you can use our software for your data handling and statistical analysis purpose. This is just brief introductions of our software. Our software, you can say it is a project, it is a language, or you can say it is an software environment. It is a part of GNU free software project. GNU means it is a not Unix-like, but it is a basically platform which provides the free environment to the researchers. You can use this software on free basis without having a license restriction, because you can use this our software. You can download it from the with the help of internet and install in your system, and you can freely use it. Okay, and this is a basically contributory software. Means you can also contribute to this software if you have, if you can develop your own modules on particular topic and send to the core team. If core team thinks that this is a basically purposeful application-oriented modules, they can basically accept it. Okay, and now because this is a basically group of several modules. Our software contains group of modules. You can see now more than 5,000 modules are there. Okay, and so this is a basically I already told you this is a contributed software. Our project started in 1995 by a group of statisticians at University of Auckland. It was initially written by Robert Gentleman and Rose Yaga of the Statistics Department of University of Auckland. And this is basically the brief introduction of this software. If you want to store it on your system, you can just open you can type R software here, and you can see this is a R project for statistical computing site, www.r-project.org. From where you can basically download the R software. There is a basically download options. Once you download, you can install it in your system, and when you finish your installing the R software, there basically an icon will create on your desktop like this. This is a 4.4.1 version. You can open it. You can see this is a basically console window of our software. This is some sort of introduction of this R software, how you can cite it, how can we see that basically the contributors of R software. Just you can copy it and paste here. Basically, all commands you will write here. This is a console window from where you can start your basically data handling or data analysis. These are the basically contributors of our softwares. Now, if you see that there is a basically file option here, and here this is a source R code. If you have already R code, you can basically open it and use it again. If you want to basically write a new script, new R program, you can click the new script. Here you can type your basically program, or you can create the code that you want to basically run for a particular purpose. Okay. If I write x equal to 5, basically x is an object for which I assign a value 5. If you can basically run this code, just select it and Control R. Control R. If you basically once you basically Control R, then you can see there is a console here. You will see x equal to 5. Now the 5 value is assigned to the object x. If I write x here, or if I write print x, you can see X is 5 output. Output is 5 because all output will display here also. Okay. So you can also write here. You can write it y equal to 6 and then put write y. Okay. Directly you can basically write your code here also, but I suggest you to basically create a separate R script file, because if you want to save it and use it again for further purpose, so you can basically have this R code set script in your system. Okay, and you can also modify it later on if you want to. Then so this is the R script options, which now you can see open script. Open script is if you have already saved any script. If I, for example, this is a basically R code file. If I want to open it, you can open it here. Okay. So this is basically the R code which I have written earlier, and you can use now. Okay. So there is a note option, load history. Load history is this is a basically history. Okay. If you want to basically see it later on, so you can save it and save history and then load history. Okay. Now this is a print option. You can also print this basically screen, and you can save to the file. You can exit here. If you click exit, then you will quit the R software. Okay. Now there is an edit option. In edit, you can see clear console. Clear console means if you want to clear your console window, then you can use this option, clear console. You can see all console is clear now. Okay. Now this is a data editor. Data editor options. You can also click here and put the name of the data and open it. Okay. Now GUI differences. GUI differences means you can basically increase the basically text style, text size, etc. By default it is 10. You can use it in 12 here. Okay. Now there is a few options: toolbar, status bar, which you now this is a miscellaneous option. Stop current computation. Current computation means if your system sometimes our system sometimes we need that we have to stop our basically current computation, then you can use these options. Okay. List object means you can list all objects which you have already created. Now you can see I created on X and Y object. So it will show you both the objects here. Okay. Now if I want to basically remove these objects, you can remove here. Remove all objects. Now all objects have been removed from your basically history. If you now click list object, there is a no object basically. Okay. So in that way you can also remove your already created objects. Now there is a package options. Which I already told you that this is a contributed software. So you can see different packages means with different modules already. If you can see these are the already contributed modules you can see here. You can use any of these. These are the basically basic modules which basically these are the already integrated with our software. Once you download our software and install it, these are the basically by default modules you can see. If you want to install further any other package, you can install from these options. Install packages. Okay. If you have internet options, you can use this. This is the basically crane mirrors. You can use any of the mirror. This is the basically you can see India, Bangalore, India. So you can use any of the crane and put it here. Okay. Now you can see the packages. You can see a lot of packages here available. They are basically listed A to Z. You can install any of the modules from here. Okay, and use it for your purpose. Now this is a help options. You can see FAQ on R, FAQ on R window, and manuals. You can see basically introduction manual. You can download it and you can see this is basically our introductions. So you can take the help of this introductory basically content of our software. Or okay, so this is a basically free manual available. You can and another options you can add functions options. If you can click here and I put here T test. You can see new window will open which describe the T.test functions. Okay, so this is a T.test functions which is available in with the R software, and these are the basically arguments of this function x, y. If you write y equal to none, then this is a basically T-test for single sample, and if you provides the values for x and y here, data for x and y, then this is a two sample problem. Okay. Now, so this is a basically introductory part. This was the introductory part of the R software. Now you can also use this R console for a calculator purpose. For example, if you want to say obtain the value of log 34, you can write as log 34. You can see this is a basically quick. You can use it as a calculator purpose. Okay, if you want to obtain the value of sine 3, you can write sine 3. If you want to exp minus 4 value, you can see this. Okay, and you can also use it as a quick calculation purpose. For example, x 34 plus 45 minus 32. You can see the output of this 45 plus 45 minus 32. So you can use this console for as a basically calculator. So this is a basically this is another application of this R software. Now there is a basically how you structure your data in R software. There is basically different type of data objects available in R software. First, it is scalar. Scalar means x equal to 5. Only single value you can assign to an object. Now, vector contains more than one value. For example, if you assign the value to the object x more than one value, so you can use the C function. C 34, 45, 56, 57, 33, 43. So here these values will assign to your data object x. If you run it, then see these values have already assigned to this x. If you see the output of x, you can see this. X contain these values. Okay. If you want to basically divide x by 3, all values will divide by 3. Okay, and you can see the output. If you want to multiply x by 4, all values will multiply by 4. Okay, so this is basically another object which is called vector. Okay, if you see the basically type x, okay, also mode of x. So you can see that this is the nature of this x is numeric. The mode of this data object is numeric. If you want to assign character values, text values, okay, say basically name, you want to assign student's name to the data object x. So you can write x equal to c, say a. Every character or a string value will be assigned by quotes. Okay, double quotes. For example, A quotes. Now, quote B, C, D. So you can see now, if you see the output of this X, you can see A, B, C. So now X contains, basically we override the values of X. First we assign to the X a numeric value. Now we assign A, B, C, D. So these values will override by this A, B, C, D. Now if you want, now you can see the mode of X now. So this is the character type. Okay. So the mode of X is character. In that way, you can assign any numerical values or as well as character values or string values the data objects. So you can create vectors like this. Now next is factors. Sometimes you can see vector is a special type of character of vector. In most cases, character data is used to describe the other data and is not used in the calculations. However, for some computations, qualitative variables are used. Sometimes we have a basically character which have different labels. For example, gender have two labels, male and female. Okay, so these are the labels of this gender. Gender has two labels, male and female. In that case, you can use vector data type. So vector data type is used to create character vector in R and converting it to a vector type. For example, if you can create a vector like this, X equal to C male. Now female. So here you can write it as gender. Okay. Now enter. So you can see here T is basically male female. It contains the character values. Now if you want to convert it into factors, you can type it as G equal to S dot factor G. Now if you write G, now you can see there is a basically male and female without force displayed, and here you can see there is a two labels, male, female, and male. Okay, so in that way you can create your factors. This is basically used in ANOVA. ANOVA when you have basically target variable as label types. Okay. Now, for example, you can see intensity. Intensity has high, medium, low. You can basically create the intensity factors here like this. You can also write this as intensity equal to factor intensity, or you can write as load factor. Okay. Now, again, the next data type is matrices and array. Matrices basically is the collection of data values in two dimensions. So an array is a matrix with two dimensions. Formatting data as matrix, an array provides an efficient data structure to perform calculations. So you can see, sometimes you can see there is a data in matrix. For example, in the two dimensions, you have data in rows and columns. So you can create a data object like matrix. The function is matrix. You can see this is X, and there is a function matrix. You provide the data and you provide how many columns you have in your matrix. The row will create it automatically. Okay, so you can create this as this is basically it contains 5 values. Now X contains 6 values, so you can create 3 rows with 2 columns. Now also you can create 2 columns with 3 rows as you want. Now mat equal to matrix void X, and now provides F row equal to say 2. Now you can see the output. So this is basically output here, which have rows and 3 columns. So in that manner, you can create the matrix. Okay. Now that data object is list. List is basically data object that contains different modes. I think मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको? हेलो?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ये लाउड जो
sir.
कर रहा है. I think there is basically okay. Now next list. List you can create basically list is a basically data object which contains any type of data. For example, you want to create a list. My list equal to list. You can provide it this. This is a basically scalar value. Now you can provide vector values. Now you can provide mat. Mat is we have already created matrix, which now you can provide any logical value. Logical value means false, true. These basically are the this is the logical data, false and true. Now you can see my list contains every data type, scalar, vectors, or matrix, or logical data also. So now you can see the output, my list. Now you can select this and run this code. You can see first basically index is 34. Now second index contains two values, 33 and 55. This is the second index of this. Now this is the third index. Third index contains matrix. You can see this matrix. Now fourth contains logical data points, false, and fifth index contains true. Now if you want to see only, you can see which value is on index 3. So you can see 3 provides this in capital bracket, you can provide the index. Okay. Now run it. Now you can see at third index we have matrix, and this is the output of this your third index. Now if you want to see first which values, now you want to display the values with the text first and third. So you can write this like C, combine the index with C, 1, 3, and then you can run it. Now you can see this is a first index and this is a third index. Okay. Now you can also change any data points. For example, X contains these values. You want to replace 56 by say some values 30, so you can replace it. Now the command is X 3 equal to say 11. Okay. Now you can see X. Run it. Now you can see position is 11. Okay. So in that manner, you can also change your data. Once you feed and to see that there is a basically error in your data object, so you can replace any value with any index. Okay. Now you can also remove the values. For example, you want to remove the values for index say 4. So you can write -4. Now if you see this, now fourth values on fourth index is removed. Okay. But in that manner you can also remove any data point. So you can use plus and minus index. Minus index with minus sign with this that index, and for displaying the data with some index, you can write positive sign without any sign. So next important data object is data frame. You can see this is basically Excel spreadsheet, which contains different columns. And what each column has same length, and each different columns contains different type of data. But the value in a single of basically column will be the of same nature. Okay, and that should be the same of each column. So this is a basically next data object. Data object, you can create data objects using data frame command. So you can write, you can see this is the X column, and you can also create Y column. You can see this is a data frame. You can in that manner you can create your data frame which contains two columns named as X and Y. Okay, so this is a basically data that which we use for our data analysis purpose. If you want to can now I will quickly I will explain some mathematical functions. So for example, if you want to calculate the mean of X, mean of Y, variance of X, you can use this mean of X. You can write ST of X. You can write PAR of X. Or if you want to calculate the correlation between X and Y, you can use this. If you want to obtain the covariance between X and Y, you can use. So these are the functions: mean, standardization, variance, correlation, covariance. You can write it and you can obtain Y capital. Now, in that manner, these functions you can use to calculate mean, standard deviation. This is variance. This is correlation. This is correlation, and this is covariance. Okay. So these are the basic statistical functions which you can use directly. If you want to see the basically what is the meaning of function mean, you can write it here L mean. So you can see the basically full descriptions of the function mean. Mean basically it demands the argument X which contains data points. And this is NA dot RM equal to false or true if your data contains any missing values, NA values. So you can write NA dot RM equal to true. For examples, this is if your data contains any NA values, and if you want to calculate the mean of this, then first you run this command and then run this. Now you can see mean is NA. So if you want to calculate the mean without excluding this missing values, so write NA dot RM. NA dot RM का मतलब है remove NA values equal to true. Now you can run this command. Now you can see there is a 47.2 mean of these remaining values, 30 without these NA values. So you can use this NA RM dot true, NA dot RM equal to true if your data object contains any missing values. Okay. So if you want to see is there any missing values in your data object, because generally data objects contains large values, and you can't easily see that is there any missing values or not. So you can see is dot NA X. So you can run this command to see whether there is a missing values or not. So you can see this index displayed true. It means there is a missing value. Okay, in your data. If you want to remove this, so there is you can see the L omit. This is the help is dot NA, NA. Okay. So in that manner you can see whether your data contains any missing values or no. And you can also operate the functions with the NA.rm equal to true with missing values. Okay. Now these are some basic operators which you can addition, subtractions, and on. There is some logical operators also. These operators can be used as a logical operators. Means if you want to see whether any logical command x equal to 67, y equal to 34, and if you want to display if x is less than y, print hello. So if this statement is true, then it will print hello. Otherwise, it will. You can see the output. Because x is not less than y, so this command is not working. Print hello. If you replace this y x greater than y, then now you can run this and you can see the output is hello. In that manner, you can use these logical operators x less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to. X not equal to y means x not equal to y. Sorry, x not equal to y. If this statement is true, then it will print hello, otherwise not. So because this statement is true, x is not equal to y, so the output is hello. If you want to see x equal to y, means if x, this command is true, x is equal to y, then it will print hello, otherwise not. You can see this. So in that manner, you can use these logical operators. No, logical operator is and. This is for or, this is for not, this is for equal, and this is not equal, less than, greater than, less than equal to, and so. So now there is a basically how to work with your data objects. You can see this is a suppose you want to let us discuss some graphical command. Say x equal to c. 40, 55, 66, 77, and the name. If you want to provide the name of x values, you can provide in that manner C A. B C D. You have 5 values. So A, B, C, D, E. Now you can see the output now. So X contains values with the name A, B, C, D, E. Now if you want to throw a basically bar plot this bar plot X. Now you can see this is a bar plot for with contain A. This is the basically length of A, length of B, length of C according to their matrix. Okay, it will create the bar. If you want to color it, COL. Color means you can provide the color in default manner 2 to 6. Basically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because there is a 5 bars here. So you can also run this and you can see this. This is the output. A, B, C, D, E with bars and along with colors. Okay, with colors. The colored bar. Okay. You can also plot pie chart. Pi by I think y char. This is a pi. You can also provide this color argument here. This is a pi chart with colors. So according to the vectors of ABCDE values, it will create the angle of 360 degree. Okay. You can also plot histogram hist x. So this is the histogram of xy. It will create the intervals, Picard intervals, and according to the frequency of the intervals, it will create the bar. Okay. So these are some basic. Now you can also use the different functions. Say apply one of the functions which you apply on matrix. It will basically help us to obtain the row-wise statistics. Say if you want to calculate the row-wise means of every row, means of every column, then you can use apply function. So first you create your matrix, and then you can apply this. So there is a basically you can provide one value also and create your matrix. MAT matrix x n row equal to 2. Now if you want to plot, create a bar plot for mat equal to matrix. Now mat you can see this is a basically bar plot of this matrix. If you see, this is a height for 22 data point this, and this is for second data points, and so on. Now if you want to display these rows side by side, so B side equal to true. You can see this. Okay. In that manner, you can create your bar plot for a matrix data objects. Okay. Sometimes we can. This is a comparative. Basically, this bar plot can be used for comparative purpose of to say this is the temperature of Dehradun, this is the temperature of Mamana, etc. And this is the production of wheat in Dehradun, this is the production of wheat in another districts, etc. So in that manner, all you can see this is a sale and this is a basically production. And this is a sale and this is the production. This is the sale and basically production of one product, and this is another product, and this is another product. So you can use this bar plot for comparing the different brands with the sales and their productions. Okay. Now you can also use this apply function here. Apply. First is you provide the data, then you provide the 1 for rows and 2 for columns. If you want to calculate the mean for every row, you provide 1, and now the function name. The first argument for data, second for rows and columns, and third for function. So you can see it will, because you see your matrix is this. You can see this is the mean. This is the mean of your first row, and this is the mean of your second row. And if you want to calculate the mean column wise, so you can see this is the mean of first column, this is the mean of second, and this is the mean of third column. You can change the name of this function, but you have to provide only univariate function. means either mean, standard deviation, variance. You cannot provide the basically functions which needs two-dimensional data or bivariate data. Okay, so this is apply functions. You can also use the function maximum, minimum to obtain row-wise maximum, column-wise maximum, row-wise minimum, row-wise, column-wise minimum, etc. Then you can also merge two data objects. You can use the sorting commands, ascending order. You can arrange your data in ascending order or descending order. You can use the sort function or you can use the order function. So there is a basically different functions available in this PPT and different data analysis tools available in this PPT. If you want to basically have this PPT, I can share it. And I think that I already over हो चुका है.
Thank you so much, sir. Ishaka, please, over to you.
I sincerely thank you, sir, for introducing us to our software, as it is very crucial for data analysis. Now, I request my friend Ishaka to continue further.
Good morning to all of you. This is Ishaka Saini from MSc Chemistry. It is my honor to introduce someone who is truly needs no introduction. We are delighted to welcome Professor Milipant ma'am, whose presence today adds great value to our Earth Day celebration. Professor Milipant ma'am is a professor and dean of the Saharanpur campus of IIT Roorkee. She is also head of the Department of Applied Mathematics and Scientific Computing, Saharanpur campus of Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee, India. She has more than 17 years of experience in teaching and research. Her expertise lies in the areas of optimization, soft computing techniques, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data analytics, their application in various domains. She has published more than 200 articles in various reputed journals and conferences of national and international repute. She has more than 9,000 Google Scholar citations and has Edge Index of 45. Ma'am has supervised 22 PhD students and currently 10 students are doing PhD under her supervision. She is listed among the top 2% scientists in the Stanford yearly list and also appeared among the top 5 women scientists of IIT Roorkee, India. Ma'am, kindly share your screen and share your views.
Hello. Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thanks for the introduction.
Good morning.
Good morning. So just give me a few seconds. I'll start sharing my presentation here. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Thank you. So now we'll start our topic for today, that is Introduction to Data Analysis. Okay. So what exactly is data? Data हम बोलते किसको है? तो डाटा हम बोलते हैं जब हमारे पास कोई इंफॉर्मेशन होती है जिसको हमने प्रॉपर फॉर्म में ला दिया है, मतलब हमने अपने पास की इंफॉर्मेशन को एक प्रॉपर फॉर्म में बना दिया है, तब हम उसको डाटा बोलते हैं. ओके, एंड टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू सी what is meant by data analysis. So now I'll start from the first slide. In the beginning, there was no such term as data analysis. Initially, what we had was data science. Okay. And initially, it was statistics. The basic concepts of statistics that were used to process or to see the outcome of the given information that was mostly in the form of numbers or in some other form that we will see later was known as data science. And it was in 1962 that John Tukey predicted the effect of modern day electronic computing on data analysis as an empirical science. After that, there was development in this area in different directions. Initially, there were different thoughts about the name itself. नाम को लेकर ही लोगों के अलग-अलग विचार थे. Like in 1974, Peter Knorr proposed data science as an alternative name for computer science. Because in computer science also, the entire work was done on data that was in the form of numbers. Then in 1996, the International Federation of Classification Societies became the first conference to specifically feature data science as a topic. Because in 90s, the importance of data was being understood by the researchers. After that, in 1997, Wu suggested that statistics should be renamed as data science. He said that a new name would help statistics shed inaccurate stereotypes, such as being synonymous with accounting or limited to describing data. Okay, then in 1998, Hayashi argued for data science as a new interdisciplinary concept with three aspects like data design, collection, and analysis. So, this term in itself, data analysis, does not have a very strong historical background by name. This name came into practice only recently. In the recent years, we have been talking about data analysis and data analytics and so on and so forth. On, you can also say that it is a combination of statistics, computer science, and to some extent, mathematics. All these things combined together give the idea of data analysis. So we will also see the modern usage that is mostly since 2000. So Cleveland advocated an expansion of statistics beyond theory into technical areas because this would significantly change the field. It warranted a new name. Then in 2002, a committee on data for science was proposed and a new journal by the name Data Science Journal was launched. Then in 2003, Columbia University launched the Journal of Data Science. And in 2014, the American Statistical Association section on statistical learning and data mining changed its name to the section on statistical learning and data science. All these things show you that data analysis was gaining more and more popularity among the researchers and among the scientists. Now we will see this particular diagram in which the terms that are very commonly used together are displayed. Nowadays, we talk a lot about artificial intelligence. We talk a lot about machine learning, and we talk a lot about neural networks. You will also see that all the three terms are kept together in one circle. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and neural networks are kept together along with deep learning, but data science and big data are kept separately from others. This is because they are a field in themselves. They only form a part of all the concepts that are mentioned on the right hand side. Likewise, big data also plays an important role in artificial intelligence, machine learning, neural networks, deep learning, etc., etc. But also it is a separate field on its own. This again tells you about the significance of data. How much important data is in today's scenario. So data has its importance in almost every area. It is not limited to science and technology. It is not limited to particularly engineering, but it is diversified in the direction of healthcare, agriculture, tourism, and any field you can think of. One of the reasons for this is digitalization. Now, everything is recorded. Everything is put up in the form of a digital format. Data, when it is brought in a proper format, has certain terminologies associated with it. Like we have variable measurement. Also, from where are we getting so much of data? Then how does data add value to the business? And why data is important. I mean, all these things are telling you about the importance or the significance of data. There are certain terminologies that are associated with data analysis, and the first one is variables. Variables are characteristics of any entity being studied that is capable of taking on different values. Okay? So whenever you are collecting some information and then you are organizing it in some format, then there will be different variables. For example, if you are collecting the data of a class, then you can divide that data in the form of name, age, discipline, gender, height, weight, etc., etc. I mean, I talked about 6 variables only, but there can be many more variables also. If you have to analyze the data of your university, what will you do? You can divide the data into the disciplines. You can divide the data on the basis of gender. You can divide the data on the basis of the percentage of marks. You can divide the data on the basis of different regions from where the students are coming. And there are multiple ways of analyzing the data. Now let's talk about measurement. So measurement is when a standard process is used to assign numbers to particular attributes or characteristics of a variable. Fine. So numbers to particular attributes. Attributes are the features of your data on the basis of which you want to do the analysis. Like the example of the university I was telling you, if you want to see the gender proportion in your university, then you will try to quantify the data in the form of gender. How many male students are there? How many female students are there? Or how many male faculty are there and how many female faculty are there? Like this. Then finally, when all the measurement has been done, then we say that our data has taken a proper format. Your data is recorded measurement. Okay, so first of all, you have to identify the type of variables that are there in your problem. Then secondly, you have to quantify the variables that are there. For example, in case of gender, what you can do, gender is male and female, but statistics does not understand words. Statistics or data analysis will only understand numbers. So what we do, we put some number for male and female like 1 or 0. This is known as encoding or one-hot encoding. We can also put label in it, 1 and 2. Like that also we can do the numbering of the data that is categorical in nature. Now, what is generating so much of data? So basically, we all are generating data. We make use of so many social media platforms. We keep on exchanging the images. We keep on exchanging some text, which can be in the form of poetry, which can be in the form of some story, and so on and so forth. We keep on exchanging the music. So this way, we are generating the data. People upload videos on YouTube. They are generating the data. Then there are machines that are generating the data. For example, the satellites. The satellites are taking the images and they are generating the data. Then humans and machines in combination. So everything, everywhere is generating the data. As I said in the very beginning that now everything is digitalized, so there is no shortage of data. Data is available in each and every format. The only thing is we need to convert it into numbers so that we can do some analysis into it. Okay. So this is what is written here, that it can be generated anywhere. Any information is generated and stored or unstructured formats. Unstructured format means when you are having the data in the form of music, or you are having the data in the form of a photograph or an image, that is known as unstructured data, because we have to make some efforts to bring it into a proper format. So we know what is data. We know now what are variables. Now we will see what is the importance of data. Why do we need so much of data? Or what are we going to do with so much of data that has already been generated by different formats? What can we do with it? Why everyone is talking about data? Why is data gaining so much of importance? So the main thing about data is that it helps us in making the decision. And by us, I mean everyone. The government makes use of the data in policy making. Then, as students, you can make use of data to solve a particular problem. The scientists make use of data again in order to do the research and so on. Data helps in solving problem by finding the reason for underperformance. If we have data in a proper format, if we are able to generate the data, then we can also see why there is a particular lag in a particular problem. And data helps us to evaluate the performance. With the help of data, we can see how well we are performing for a particular problem. It will also help us in improving the processes, and in case of marketing, in case of business, the data helps in understanding consumers and the market. In fact, business is one of the areas in which data plays a very, very, very important role. It is extremely important. All the successful businesses depend on the proper analysis of data. And that is where the actually profit making can be seen. How data is generating money. So let's move ahead and see the proper definition of data analysis. So formally, we can define data analysis as the process of collecting, organizing, and interpreting the data to uncover the useful insights. That is, we can get any information about a particular problem if we are having a well-defined data in front of us. But for that, we need to collect the data. Data is everywhere, that is true. But we also have to collect it. And after collecting the data, we have to organize it. That is, bring it in a proper format. Then finally, we need to apply some sort of a statistics or some other method in order to analyze the data. This will help us in making informed decisions in every field. It can be business, it can be science, it can be governance, it can be education, it can be healthcare, and it can be almost everything in which we are having certain amount of information in front of us. More formally speaking, it is the process of examining, transforming, and arranging raw data in a specific format to generate useful information from it. Data analysis allows for the evaluation of data through analytical and logical reasoning to lead to some sort of outcome or conclusion in some context. Data analysis, it is a multifaceted process that involves a number of steps, approaches, and diverse techniques. Okay. So, data analysis, for doing data analysis, what we need is, first of all, data. But that data, initially that we collect, is in the form of some information, and we call it raw data. We have to arrange it properly. Then we have to bring everything to numbers. Then we have to apply some analytical and logical reasoning to it, so that we can get an informed decision out of the given data that we are having. Now we'll come to the variable part. So very broadly speaking, we can have the data in the form of categorical data or in the form of numerical data. Categorical data is the one that is initially not in the form of numbers. So categorical data, like I told you, it can be the gender, or it can be the color of eyes, it can be the color of hair, and anything that is not quantifiable in general. That is to say, for gender, we will normally say male or female. For marital status, we will generally say married or unmarried, or married or single, like that. Okay. So this is known as category. Or even if you are talking about discipline, you are talking about discipline, it can be arts, it can be science, it can be commerce. So you will have to put a label on them. You will have to quantify them somehow. 1, 2, 3. 1 stands for science, 2 stands for commerce, and 3 stands for arts. So some numbering we have to think here. Otherwise, our data will be in the form of a discrete data or in the form of continuous data. Okay, so continuous data is something that can be measured continuously. For example, the weight can be 54.5 kg. So there is a decimal point there, 54.5. This is continuous. But if I say how many number of students are there in your class, it cannot be 10.5. It has to be 10. This is discrete. So our data can be categorical or it can be numerical. If the data is numerical, then it can be continuous or it can be discrete. We should be having some knowledge of the levels of data measurement. For example, if we are talking about the nominal data, then it is the lowest level of data, which does not help us in making any concrete decision. Then ordinal data, interval data, and ratio data. These are the different types of data that we have, and each one of them helps us in getting some information from the given data set. Ordinal will give you some more information, then interval will give you slightly more information, and ratio data is the one that will give you the most important information about the data set that you are having. Nominal data set, like I said, male and female. Okay. So at the maximum thing that you can do is you can calculate the ratio of both genders. How many male students are there and how many female students are there. A very limited information will be given to you, will be provided to you. Then we have ordinal data in which some sort of order is maintained. Like you have UG, PG, PhD, etc., etc. So they follow some order. Like UG is the lowest graduation level. Then we have PG. Then we have PhD, like this. So PhD is the highest degree that you get, something like this. So it is following some order here. This is known as ordinal data. And interval data and ratio data, both are numerical in nature, both are numerical data, but they have some difference in scale. Interval data will give you slightly less information, whereas ratio data will give you the maximum information about the given data set. We can also say that data is qualitative or quantitative. Again, qualitative data is the one in which we are not having any numbers. For example, it can be the opinion in a customer survey. Like you all use, you must have used at some point of time e-commerce platforms like that of Amazon or Flipkart, or even Blinkit or Zepto or anything that, or any such platform you might have used. So there you have an option of pressing the performance, or you are sometimes asked to give the rating. You give 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, like that. Okay, so that is the opinion of a customer. It is qualitative in nature. Good, very good, bad, very bad, like that. And quantitative data, so that is easy to understand. It is something that is in the form of numbers itself. Now, here is an example given, like the census of India. So here you will be having the complete data. You will be having different variables. So only two examples are given, only two variables are given here. One is the total population and other is the mother tongue. So total population will be one number, whereas mother tongue can be Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, Bengali, and so on. This will be the qualitative data. Or otherwise, if we see the previous slide, then we also say that it is a categorical data. Now, this is a more defined diagram in which the information is about the unstructured data. So, unstructured data is the one in which nothing is in the form of numbers directly. For example, emails. So, emails are a part of data because they are giving you some information. In fact, government keeps a track of certain words in the emails that are being sent. So certain words are very much crucial for the government. The government keep on searching for those words and they are stored in emails or the social media where you are not using numbers in particular, but you are having data in front of us. All these are examples of man-generated. Then machine-generated data, like I told you, satellite image. Then if someone is working in a laboratory and the instrument is generating the data, then it is known as the scientific data, and the data that is being generated by sensors. Other examples are weather data, landform data, military movement data, then space exploration, seismic imagery, and so many things. Even the chat GPT is an example of generating the data. Now we'll talk about the steps that are involved in data analysis. So the first step is collecting the data. It depends on the type of problem that you are solving. If you are a social sciences student, then probably your work can be done with the help of survey data. So in survey data, you prepare a questionnaire, and on the basis of questionnaire, you collect the data. Then if you're working in some scientific field, you can make use of the sensor data. Then if you are working, or if you are a commerce student, or you are working in bank, then it can be the transaction data. Or if again, you are working in some social science or some other area in which you need to get the information from the websites, then again, you will be viewing different websites. Maybe your work is to see which website is best for from the customer's point of view. Why do customers like a particular website? What are the features of that website? You are doing an analysis of different websites. Okay. Now, the example that is given here is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan survey data from the municipalities. So, what is the, government keep on doing these survey just to see how their policy is working out. Then we have got the concept of cleaning the data. So cleaning the data means that you have to remove the errors, particularly when you are doing the survey data. Then sometimes it happens that the person is not willing to give the answer. The person may not want to tell you about his or her religion. The person may not want to tell you about the place from where he or she has come. So the data becomes incomplete. The information becomes incomplete. Then it also happens that sometimes there are duplicacies in the data. Or there are some certain values that have not been collected or have been missed out. These are known as the missing data, missing values. Okay. So This example you can see like the electoral roll data. Here the task of the government is to remove the fake entries. So the government collects the data, then the government analyzes the data and tries to identify the fake entries from it. The next step is exploring the data. So once you have collected the data and you have done some cleaning of the data, this is also known as processing the data. Initial processing the data, in which you remove the errors, remove the duplicates, remove the missing values, and so on. Then you come to the part of exploring the data. So exploring means that now you have to apply some sort of tool. That tool can be statistics, in which you try to determine the mean, median, and mode, which will give you an initial information about the data. Or you can have some sort of visualization tools. These are also known as visualization diagrams, in which you draw the bar graph or the pie chart or the line graph and different ways. Example can be analyzing the rainfall data to understand the monsoon pattern. Analyzing the data means you are trying to find out the trends in the data, how the data is progressing. You try to find out the patterns in the data. You try to find out the correlation between the variables. The example that is given here is, you must have seen the exit poll. So in exit poll, what do the reporters do? They go to different regions and then they try to get the opinion of the people. That opinion of the people is the basic idea that tells you about the trend of a particular party, how a party is performing. Then sometimes this type of analysis is done before the votes in order to see the requirement of the people, before the elections, to see the requirement of the people, so that the government can formulate its policy, or the electoral parties can form their policies as per that. Finally, we interpret the results on the basis of analyzing the data, which basically is making the conclusion. And if we see any problem there, or if we have analyzed anything that can be done better, then we make recommendations. Now, again, an example is interpreting student performance data in different states under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. We'll come to the tools that are used in data analysis. The most basic tool that you have is the Excel spreadsheet. Microsoft Excel is a very good tool that can help you with the basic understanding of the data. We have some programming based tools, and Python and R are quite good in that. R is basically a statistical software, but now Python, if you start working in Python, you will like Python better than R. Then Tableau and Power BI, these are slightly more advanced tools, and these are for data visualization. We'll see some real life applications so that you know that data analysis is not confined to the area of science and technology. It is everywhere. In agriculture, crop pattern analysis is done, and for that, we can use the satellite data. You can also use the structured data for it. For example, you can predict the yield of wheat and rice using the weather and soil data. All the information are nowadays available on different websites also. Likewise, if you are working in the domain of healthcare, you can analyze the trend of different diseases. So Arogya Setu app was developed during COVID time, and the government used to trace that app in order to see the COVID cases. In banking and finance also, data analysis can be used for loan default predictions. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Ayog Yojana is there, and this accounts the analysis for financial inclusion. And finally, the e-governance. E-governance is something in which the government is laying a lot of emphasis. So one example is like use of Aadhaar data for direct benefit transfers. This is creating the database. What is Aadhaar? Aadhaar is your data that has been collected, that or the government can make use of that data to give you the benefit of different schemes. You have to give your Aadhaar number when you are applying for various types of schemes. Okay, we'll come to the ethics part because data is something that is very sensitive. Data is a highly sensitive thing, and we need to handle it carefully, because what happens is most of the things happen because of the wrong use of data. The most important thing about data is privacy and responsible use. The data should be used very responsibly. The data leakage should not be there. Data leakage means कि अगर आधार का डाटा लीक हो गया तो क्या होगा, आपकी सारी इंफॉर्मेशन बाहर आ जाएगी, and anyone can misuse it. So data has to be used very responsibly, and the government is generally very careful about it. जैसे इसमें example आधार का ही दे रखा है, that there were several controversies around Aadhaar data privacy, underlining the need for data ethics. This is known as data ethics or responsible use of data. Continuing in the same direction, we have, you should be very careful about the research ethics, because whenever you are doing research or whenever you are writing a paper or something, then you are actually using someone else's data. उस डाटा को आप किस तरह से यूज कर रहे हैं, दिस शुड बी योर प्राइम कंसर्न. बहुत जिम्मेदारी के साथ हमें डाटा यूज करना पड़ता है, अदरवाइज इट इज नोन एज प्लेजियरिज्म. Plagiarism means that we are using someone else's work and then we are claiming it to be our own work. किसी और के काम को हम as it is उठाकर अगर अपने पेपर में डाल देंगे, then it is known as plagiarism. We should strictly avoid it. We can read different papers to get the ideas, but finally we need to work on our own. And we should not do anything with the data that we have collected. Fabrication of data means that we are deliberately doing something with the data so that we are providing false results. This again is wrong. किसी और के काम को भी यूज नहीं करना है और जो भी डाटा हमारे पास है उसको एज इट इज एनालाइज करना है. डाटा में छेड़छाड़ is considered to be a very serious crime in the world of academics. We'll come back to our data science life cycle, and this is the complete flow diagram in which we define the problem, collect the data, then do the quality check, do exploratory data analysis, modeling, followed by the data communication. The application part, I have already told you, healthcare, transport, banking, manufacturing, e-commerce. Prerequisites for data science or data analysis: linear algebra from mathematics. Little bit of linear algebra is sufficient, but more important than that is statistics and probability. You need to have some knowledge of it, particularly like mean, median, mode, probability distributions, and correlation coefficient, covariance matrix, and so on. Students of all streams can use it. For engineering students, performance monitoring, optimization problems. The commerce students can do the market analysis and consumer behavior. Arts or social science students can use it for public policy impact and social surveys. Sciences, research data and statistical experiments. And the design students can make use of it for user interaction data and UX improvement. That UX is user experience. These are some of the libraries that you can work on. Python will be the easiest library. Python के बहुत सारे lectures online available हैं. It is one of the simplest and the easiest library that can help you in data analysis. Python again, Python सबसे common है, Python को use करेंगे. If you want to start with data analysis, R is good. If you are familiar with R, then R is fine. Otherwise, if you are starting from the very beginning, then make use of Python. Julia, only at a later stage, not now. And you can try this exercise. Collect and analyze the data from your own class. Then you can have different variables like mode of transportation to college, average time taken, and opinions about campus facilities. So that is all for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ishaka, over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking the time to explain the basics of data analysis to us. It was really helpful and insightful. Now I would like to invite Professor Dinesh Bhatt, sir. Please join us, sir. Professor Dinesh Bhatt, sir, is a professor and head of the Department of Geology and Environmental Science. And he is also having the additional charge of registrar in Gurukul, Kangri, Vishwavidyalaya, Haridwar, Uttarakhand. He has about 35 years of experience in teaching and about 40 years of experience in research. His expertise lies in the areas of bird breeding ecology, bioacoustics, and diversity and conservation biology. Sir has supervised 22 PhD students and currently 6 students are doing PhD under his supervision. He has published more than 75 articles in various academic journals and attended various national and international conferences. Kindly share your screen, sir, and share your views.
Thank you for your kind introduction about me and about my work. And I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to share some of my views and information about this important day, that is Earth and as the United Nations has proclaimed 22 April as International Mother Earth Day. So I would like to say some or share some information rather, because I don't have any new ideas and new thought, because it is a part of the research and many people are working on different aspects of the environmental problems, including pollution, and then there are different aspects of the deforestation, afforestation and all. So people are working on along different aspects. So and I think it is already known to you all that we are celebrating the Earth Day because it recognizes the Earth and its ecosystem as humanity's common home, and therefore there is need to protect her, the to sustain people's livelihood and stop collapse of the diversity. So I'm concentrating mainly on biodiversity aspect, and I would like to have the next slide. Yeah, as it is also known that as I have already this slide I have already explained to you all. Next, please. Yeah. So let's start about the universe. क्योंकि यूनिवर्स ब्रह्मांड में हम हैं, और अगर हम ब्रह्मांड के बारे में थोड़ा सा शुरुआत से हम चिंता करें तो अर्थ की चिंता भी हो जाती है। और इनफैक्ट अवर ट्रेडिशनल नॉलेज, जो इंडियन कल्चर का नॉलेज है, जो वैदिक स्टडीज का नॉलेज है, वो हमको यूनिवर्स और अर्थ के बारे में अच्छी तरह समझाता है। तो यूनिवर्स की जो बातें हैं, ये आपको पता ही है कि आई मीन देयर वाज अ थ्योरी कि बिग बैंग हुआ था, और उस समय ट्रेमेंडस एनर्जी रिलीज हुई थी, और इस कारण से यूनिवर्स बना था अबाउट 13.7 बिलियन ईयर्स एगो। और अगर हम इस स्लाइड को देखें तो यू विल फाइंड कि हम इसमें समझना चाह रहे हैं कि ओरिजिन ऑफ अर्थ एंड अदर इवेंट्स कब कब हुई है। तो ओरिजिन ऑफ यूनिवर्स तो 13.7 बिलियन ईयर्स एगो हुआ है, ये आपको पता भी होगा। देयर आफ्टर फॉर्मेशन ऑफ फर्स्ट स्टार्स, देयर आफ्टर हंड्रेड्स ऑफ गैलेक्सीज बनी है, ओरिजिन ऑफ सोलर सिस्टम हुआ, ओरिजिन ऑफ अर्थ हुआ, ओरिजिन ऑफ अर्थ मून हुआ, फिर 3.8 से लेकर के 4.4 के बीच ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ हुआ, फिर सेकेंडरी एटमॉस्फेरिक फॉर्म्स हुए, फ्री एटमॉस्फेरिक ऑक्सीजन मिली, फर्स्ट लैंड प्लांट्स हुए, फिर फर्स्ट लैंड एनिमल्स हुए, फिर राइज ऑफ डायनासोर्स हुए, फिर एक्सटेंशन ऑफ डायनासोर्स हुए, फिर अर्लीस्ट मैन जो है 2 से 5 मिलियन ईयर्स एगो एग्जिस्टेंस में आया, ऐसा वैज्ञानिकों ने बताया। तो ये सीरीज इसलिए हम समझना चाहते हैं कि कब कब क्या क्या इवेंट हुई है, और ऐसा नहीं है कि हम एकाएक यहाँ पर आ गए हैं। हम एक सीरीज, एक क्या कहते हैं, प्रकृति के किसी नियम के तहत, किसी सिस्टम के तहत यहाँ पर हैं, और हमको जो और हमसे पहले हुए हैं उनका भी ध्यान रखना है। तो ये अगली स्लाइड में हम आपको और बताना चाहेंगे कि जो सोलर प्लेनेट का जो पूरा सिस्टम है, ये इसको मैं ज्यादा एक्सप्लेन नहीं करना चाहूंगा। मतलब इस फ्रेगमेंटेशन ऑफ द इंटरसेलुलर क्लाउड हुआ, फर्स्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन हुआ, फिर फ्लैटनिंग ऑफ द सोलर नेबुला, फिर कंडेंसेशन ऑफ द nebular material into protoplanets and smaller bodies such as asteroids way, फिर solidification of planets with an indication of present orbit। ये वाला जहां पर हम रह रहे हैं, ये वाला सिस्टम है। फिर आप देखेंगे कि ये हमारी गैलेक्सी है, मिल्की वे है, और ये आपकी अर्थ है। और ये अर्थ जो है, नेक्स्ट वाली मिल्की वे आ गया, नेक्स्ट या अर्थ प्लीज, नेक्स्ट या। तो दिस इज द अर्थ, एंड इस ये अर्थ स्पिन करती है, एंड इट इज टिल्टेड टू 23.5 डिग्री से विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द ऑर्बिटल प्लेन, एंड दिस इज व्हाट कॉजेज द सीजन्स। तो हम सीजन्स भी इसमें अनुभव करते हैं। डिफरेंट क्रॉप के सीजन्स हमारे पास है, फ्लावरिंग के सीजन्स हैं। तो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस जो टिल्ट हुई है उसके कारण, एंड व्हेन एक्सिस पॉइंट्स टुवर्ड द सन it is summer for that particular hemisphere. And when axis points away, winter can be expected. तो हमारा जैसे आप लोग जानते हैं कि नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर में हम लोग रह रहे हैं, साउदर्न हेमिस्फीयर में भी है, तो दोनों हेमिस्फीयर में क्लाइमेट अलग अलग टाइप की अलग अलग सीजन में होती है, डिपेंडिंग कि सन की रेज कहाँ पर कितनी पड़ रही है। और इसमें इस वाले फिगर में आप देखेंगे अर्थ सीजन्स बने हुए हैं, बिकॉज कि सन की जो लाइट है नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर पे कब और किस रूप से पड़ रही है और साउदर्न हेमिस्फीयर पे कब और किस रूप से पड़ रही है, ये अपना में एक टॉपिक है जिसको कि आप आराम से कभी भी समझ सकते हैं। लेकिन ये समझना इसलिए जरूरी है क्योंकि हमें पता होना चाहिए कि सीजन्स क्यों होते हैं। क्योंकि एनवायरमेंटल जब हम अर्थ की बात करते हैं, जब हम सोलर सिस्टम की भी बात करते हैं, जब हम सूर्य को नमस्कार की बात करते हैं, तो सूर्य है क्या? मोस्ट ऑफ अस हम लोग सूर्य को खाली एक समझते हैं कि ठीक है एक उगता हुआ गोला है, ये आता है डूबता है चला जाता है। लेकिन इसके ऊपर बहुत सारी फिजिक्स है, इसके ऊपर सारी बायोलॉजी जो हम इवॉल्व हुए हैं, जो आज हम यहाँ पर बैठे हुए बात कर रहे हैं, ये अगर सूर्य नहीं होता तो यहाँ पर कुछ भी नहीं होता। तो इसलिए हमको सूर्य को भी नमस्कार करना चाहिए और ये हमारी परंपरा भी है, क्योंकि सूर्य इज द अल्टीमेट सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी। और सूर्य अल्टीमेट सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी के साथ साथ चूंकि धरती सूरज के चारों तरफ चक्कर लगाती है, तो हमारे पास डिफरेंट सीजन्स, डिफरेंट फ्रूट्स और डिफरेंट फ्लावर्स मिलते हैं। तो हमको कलरफुल लाइफ मिलती है, कलरफुल नेचर मिलता है और हर तरह का एटमोस्फेयर मिलता है, बिकॉज ऑफ द रोटेशन ऑफ अर्थ एज वेल एज बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रेजेंस ऑफ द सन। इसलिए सूर्य को देवता कहा जाता है। देवता उसको कहते हैं जो देता है। ओके, तो ये बात होगी सीजन्स की और सन की और अर्थ की। अब नेक्स्ट में आपने देखा होगा नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में कि हमारे पास चंदा मामा है, और ये बहुत पुराने जमाने में हम लोग पढ़ते थे कक्षा 2-4 में, तो कहते चंदा मामा दूर के पूरी पकाए बूर के। तो इस प्रकार से चंदा मामा की हमारे पास बहुत सारी कहानियां हैं, लेकिन साइंस कहती है कि ये एक हमारा अर्थ सैटेलाइट है और इसका एक बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है। सन एंड मून की साइकिल्स होती है, ये नॉट ओनली इन केस ऑफ द एनिमल्स, लेकिन ये आपको पता है कि ज्वार भाटा भी ये देते हैं। और ह्यूमन बींग्स में बहुत सारे सर्केडियन और सर्केनल सिस्टम्स को ये प्रभावित करते हैं, सन और मून की साइकिल। तो इस प्रकार से मून का भी बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है। नेक्स्ट में देखेंगे कि सन आ गया, मून आ गया, तो ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ, तो जैसे मैंने कहा था 3.8 to 4.5 ऐसा एक्सपेक्टेड है बिलियंस ईयर्स एगो में हुआ होगा। तो द प्रोसेस ऑफ लाइफ बिगेन विद साइनोबैक्टीरिया एंड दे वर द फर्स्ट ऑर्गेनिज्म टू मेक फ्री ऑक्सीजन बाय फोटोसिंथेसिस। तो अगर फोटोसिंथेसिस नहीं होती तो कोई भी यहाँ पर प्लांट्स, अगर प्लांट्स फोटोसिंथेसिस नहीं करते तो हम लोग कुछ भी नहीं खा पाते। तो इस प्रकार से जो साइनोबैक्टीरिया है वो फर्स्ट ऑर्गेनिजम्स थे जिन्होंने फ्री ऑक्सीजन बनाई फोटोसिंथेसिस मारते, और ऑक्सीजन को हम लेते हैं। ऑक्सीजन नहीं होती तो कोरोना के टाइम पे लोगों ने पहली बार पता किया, मतलब पता चला होगा जिनको कभी पता भी नहीं था कि ऑक्सीजन की इंपॉर्टेंस कितनी है, जब ऑक्सीजन की अब्सेंस में लोग दुनिया से चल बसे। ठीक है, तो ये जो है मेथनोजेंस और साइनोबैक्टीरिया ये प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल्स हैं। और इस तरह से नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आप देखेंगे कि ये जीवन का उद्भव हुआ, ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ, यानी कि सिंगल सेल से जीवन का उद्भव हुआ। फिर मल्टी सेलुलर एनिमल्स एग्जिस्टेंस में आए, सिंगल सेलुलर एनिमल्स भी हमारे पास हैं ही, आज भी हैं। उसके साथ साथ जब ये सब मल्टी सेलुलर एनिमल्स बनते गए, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आप देखेंगे कि जो है इसके बाद इवोल्यूशन हुआ। इवोल्यूशन में बहुत सारी चीजें हुई, मतलब बेसिकली अगर हम देखें कि व्हाट इज इवोल्यूशन, तो आप पाएंगे कि इस इवोल्यूशन में प्रोसेस ऑफ चेंज हुआ, और इस प्रोसेस ऑफ चेंज में एक खास डायरेक्शन में चेंज हुआ। और एक खास डायरेक्शन में। इसको अगर हम बायोलॉजिकल हिसाब से समझें तो हम कह सकते हैं कि द प्रोसेस ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल एंड ऑर्गेनिक चेंज इन ऑर्गेनिजम्स बाय व्हिच डिसेंडेंट्स केम टू डिफर फ्रॉम देयर एंसेस्टर्स। तो एंसेस्टर से ये नहीं कि एंसेस्टर की जैसे हम रहे चेंज होते रहे, तो वही इवोल्यूशन है। और चार्ल्स डार्विन वैज्ञानिक मानते हैं कि वॉज द फर्स्ट साइंटिस्ट जिसने कि इवोल्यूशनरी थ्योरी को इवॉल्व किया इन डिटेल, एंड ही रोट ए बुक, ए वेरी पॉपुलर बुक, द ओरिजिन ऑफ स्पीसीज, जो कि 1859 में स्पीसीज बन गई थी, वो पब्लिश हुई थी। हिंदुस्तान में भी हमारे पास इवोल्यूशन के कॉन्सेप्ट हैं वेदों में, पुराणों में, लेकिन चूंकि टाइम नहीं है हम इसको डिटेल में नहीं जा पाएंगे। लेकिन साथ ही साथ एक इंटरेस्टिंग इवेंट भी हुई इवोल्यूशन के साथ साथ, को इवोल्यूशन भी हुआ। और को इवोल्यूशन में क्या हुआ कि अभी आपको आके बताएंगे, बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है कि बर्ड्स में कोयल और क्रो का एक अजीब रिश्ता है। कोयल अपने अंडों को क्रो के घोंसले में डालते है, खुद नहीं बनाती, और वो भी एक चालाकी भरे के स्टाइल से करती है। क्रो जब क्रो अपने अंडों को सेक रहा होता है तो कोयल जो है एक खास आवाज करती है और अपने मेल को कहती है कि मेरे को अब एग लेइंग करनी है, इसलिए किसी क्रो को जाके डिस्टर्ब करो ताकि क्रो अपना एग लेइंग प्रोसेस छोड़ करके किसी दूर स्थान पे चला जाए, मैं उसके नेस्ट में अपने अंडे। तो ये बायोलॉजिकली होता है। मादा कोयल के नेस्ट पे क्रो टीज करती है और फिर उसको परेशान करती है। ओके,
yes sir, please continue. Yes sir, please continue.
ओके, फाइन फाइन। तो क्रो को डिस्टर्ब करके मेल कोयल उसको दूर भगा लेती है, और फिर दूर भगाने के बाद फीमेल कोयल को एक आवाज देती है, और फीमेल कोयल आकर के उसके नेस्ट में एग लेइंग कर देती है, और फिर फीमेल कोयल एक आवाज देती है और कहते हैं कि काम हो गया। तो इस तरह से इवोल्यूशन हुआ, और ये बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है, पर इसमें टाइम नहीं है इसको बताने का। प्रश्न ये था कि इवोल्यूशन होते होते हम क्या क्या चीजें होगी दुनिया में, और ये बच्चे बन गए थे, मैंने आपको दिखाया था। और इसी इवोल्यूशन के क्रम में बर्ड ने इतना इंटरेस्टिंग, मतलब आर्किटेक्ट अपना, हम कहते हैं हम बड़े आर्किटेक्ट हैं, लेकिन अगर हम इसको देखें, ये थोड़ा सा इसको सुनेंगे आप तो पता चल जाएगा कि कितना इंटरेस्टिंग तरीके से ये अपना वीव करके नेस्ट को बुन रही है। ठीक है, ये चल रही है क्या? चला लीजिए, आधा मिनट चला लीजिए, तो लोगों को दे वुड लाइक टू नो कि किस प्रकार से एक एनिमल, इतना छोटा एनिमल इतना बढ़िया तरीके से बुनने का काम करता है। और हमारे यहाँ बहुत सालों तक, तो अब तो बहुत कम लोग करते हैं, लोग स्वेटर बुनने का काम करते हैं, क्रोशे का काम करते थे, अब नहीं बुनते हैं लोग, सब रेडीमेड खरीदते हैं। लेकिन बहुत से लोगों में एक कला भी होती है कि किस प्रकार से बुनाई होती है। तो इस प्रकार से ये एनिमल बताता है। और नेक्स्ट वाला ये एनिमल भी हमको नेक्स्ट प्ले कर दीजिए
जी।
तो एक क्रो जो है, क्रो ने कैसे इवॉल्व किया कि हम किसी एक अखरोट को किस तरह से तोड़े, क्योंकि अखरोट को वो तोड़ नहीं सकता, तो उसने स्ट्रेटेजी बनाई, इवोल्व हुआ उसके साथ, उसके सिस्टम में, कि हम इसको किसी रोड पे ऐसे समय डालें जहां पर कि बस और टैक्सी आ रहे हों और टायर के नीचे अखरोट टूट जाए, और जब टूट जाए तो उसके हम उस टूटे हुए अखरोट के अंदर का जो असली हिस्सा है, उसको, जो खाने वाला पार्ट है, उसको खा सके। तो इस प्रकार से क्रो ने ये इवॉल्व किया अपने आप में। तो हम ये नहीं कहते कि हम ही बहुत चतुर हैं मनुष्य, क्रो भी अपने हिसाब से बहुत चतुराई से काम कर रहा है। तो नेक्स्ट वाली स्लाइड में, तो ये हमने दिखाया आपको कि हम कहाँ से चले यूनिवर्स में, हमने सोलर सिस्टम देखा, सन को समझा, पृथ्वी को थोड़ा समझा, देखा ये टिल्टेड है और हमको हर सीजन्स का अनुभव कराती है। और लेकिन आज स्थिति क्या है कि मतलब प्रेजेंटली तो हम लोग और अधिकांश एनिमल्स भी इसी पृथ्वी पे रहते हैं, ऐसा माना जाता है। हालांकि दूसरे जगहों को भी खोज जारी है, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली दिस इज द अर्थ जो प्लेस है हम लोगों के लिए, लिविंग बींग्स को रहने के लिए। लेकिन क्या हो रहा है, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आएगा कि लिविंग इज बिकमिंग डिफिकल्ट और नंबर ऑफ रीजन्स। तो वो नंबर ऑफ रीजन्स क्या क्या हो सकते हैं वो नेक्स्ट वाले में स्लाइड में आपको बताएंगे। पॉल्यूटेड एयर, अभी इसमें बहुत डिटेल में जाने की मुझे जरूरत ही नहीं है, क्योंकि ऑटोमेटिकली पॉल्यूशन इतना भयंकर लेवल पे चल रहा है, इतना इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन हो चुका है, इतना माइक्रो प्लास्टिक भी हमारे फेफड़ों में चला गया है। तो इसको कैसे संभाले, गवर्नमेंट भी सम्मेलन करती है, सोचती है, हम भी इसमें अपनी बात शेयर कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इस पॉल्यूशन को दूर कैसे करें, इस बहुत सारे चीजों को किया गया है, लेकिन पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेशन जब तक नहीं होगा, फॉर एग्जांपल जब तक प्लास्टिक को हम बिल्कुल ही इरेडिकेट नहीं कर पाएंगे, तब तक जो है माइक्रोप्लास्टिक हमारे जीवन से दूर नहीं होगा। उसी प्रकार इंसेक्टिसाइड एंड पेस्टिसाइड का अंधाधुंध जो उपयोग जो किसान लोग भी कर रहे हैं और अन्य लोग भी कर रहे हैं, तो उनके द्वारा जब तक इस पर ठीक से कार्रवाई नहीं की जाती है, उनको साइंटिफिक नॉलेज नहीं दिया जाता है, तो पेस्टिसाइड और इंसेक्टिसाइड के प्रयोग से भी हम नहीं बच सकेंगे। तो इसके ऊपर भी हमको भी सोचना है और अपने अपने गांव में, अपने अपने शहर में इसके बारे में जागरूकता करनी है और खुद शुरुआत करनी है कि हम मार्केट में प्लास्टिक ले ही नहीं, हम थैले लेके जाएं और सब्जियां और अन्य पदार्थ जो जो कपड़े का थैला है उसके अंदर लाएं। सिंपल सी चीजें, बहुत सारी और एस्पेक्ट्स हैं जो और स्पीकर्स कवर करेंगे या कवर कर चुके होंगे और आप लोग समझते ही हैं। वाटर का लेवल चूंकि अंडरग्राउंड वाटर भी खराब हो चुका है, जितने भी इंडस्ट्री है उनका वेस्ट चला जाता है। इवन गंगा, यमुना का एग्जांपल सबके पास है, यमुना के बारे में आप बोलना ही क्या है। तो इतना अधिक हम लोगों ने अपनी जितनी भी रिवर्स है उन सबको खराब कर दिया है और स्पेशल हैवी
I think there is some technical glitch. हम इशू को रिजोल्व करने की कोशिश करते हैं।
नेक्स्ट स्लाइड।
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है अभी, शायद नेटवर्क इशू है सर कोई।
हेलो,
हाँ जी सर, अभी आई है सर आवाज, प्लीज कंटिन्यू कीजिए।
अच्छा ठीक है सर, आपका एक पीपीटी बंद हो गई, पीपीटी
अच्छा
खोलिए। हाँ,
अच्छा, ओके
नेक्स्ट
सर,
नेक्स्ट पीपीटी लाइए ना।
ओके ओके सर, एक मिनट सर।
हाँ तो बैरन हाँ या तो बैरन सॉइल इज अनदर प्रॉब्लम, है ना। और वो आपने देखिए, इसके बारे में बहुत ज्यादा बोलने की आवश्यकता नहीं है कि ये जो लैंड हमारा किस इंसेक्टिसाइड और पेस्टिसाइड अंधाधुंध उपयोग करके और क्लाइमेट चेंज के कारण से बहुत सारी एरियाज में बैरन सॉइल हो चुकी है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज। हाँ, इन नॉइजी इन्वायरमेंट, इतना अधिक नॉइज हमारा मोस्ट ऑफ द जो यूरोपियन कंट्रीज हैं उनमें तो नॉइज फ्री एटमॉस्फेयर लगभग हो चुका है। हमारे यहाँ हॉर्न पे प्रतिबंध नहीं है, तो लोग हॉर्न बजाते रहते हैं और इस प्रकार से डे टू डे लाइफ में डिस्टरबेंस होता है। और हमारे यहाँ एक और प्रॉब्लम है कि शादी में बहुत सारी शादियां होती हैं, तो कॉलोनी के आसपास हम लोग जो है बारात ले जाते हैं, वहां पर जैम करते हैं रास्ते को। उसके अलावा बैंड के शोरगुल में बहुत सारे लोगों को तकलीफ होती है। और उसके अलावा डीजे बजता है जो 90 से 100 टू 100 के आसपास चला जाता है, जिसका साउंड लेवल, तो साउंड प्रेशर लेवल जो है हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाते हैं डे टू डे लाइफ में। तो ये एक बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। और रोड के भी में भी इस तरह का शोरगुल रहता है। तो ये पर कंट्रोल करना, हालांकि गवर्नमेंट ने एक्ट बनाए हैं और कुछ रिलीजियस चीजें भी हैं जिनके कारण से लोग भजन कीर्तन करते हैं, तो ये है कि वो कम लेवल का करें, जितने लोगों को वहां पर प्रेजेंट है उतना ही वॉल्यूम लो करें। तो इस प्रकार से इस पे कुछ कंट्रोल किया जा सकता है। नेक्स्ट, हाँ, ये जो आपका अनहेल्दी लाइफ, तो अनहेल्दी लाइफ पॉल्यूशन के डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स के कारण अनहेल्दी लाइफ स्टेट होती हैं। इवन नॉइज से जो लोगों को हार्ट की प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं या ब्रेन की प्रॉब्लम्स होती है, नॉइज सबसे अधिक डिस्टरबेंस उनको होती है। इवन बच्चों को भी जो साथ में नॉइज होती है और अचानक रात को डीजे बजता है या अचानक रात को बम लोग पटाखे फोड़ते हैं या दिवाली में या शादियों में, वो भी एक खराब परंपरा चल पड़ी है जिसको कि अच्छा करना चाहिए हमको। दीपावली का मतलब होता है दियों का त्योहार, जिसमें कि दीपों की माला बनाई जाती है। तो हमको वो सिस्टम अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए, न कि पटाखे फोड़ने चाहिए। पटाखे तो वैसे भी जो है ये हमारे कल्चर का हिस्सा नहीं है। ये मुगल पीरियड में पटाखे आए थे, उससे पहले पटाखे होते भी नहीं। नेक्स्ट, एसिड रेन के बारे में भी आपको सबको पता ही है कि मतलब डिफरेंट जो हमारे इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, डिफरेंट हमारे जो इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट अलग अलग सेक्टर्स में हो रहे हैं, उनके थ्रू जो पॉल्यूशन है, जो सल्फर और नाइट्रोजन का उसके द्वारा जो निकलता है और उसके परिणाम स्वरूप एसिडेंट बनती है। तो इसको भी हमको देखना है कि हमको वाकई कितनी फैक्ट्री चाहिए और उसमें किस तरह से हमको संशोधन किया जाना है। ओजोन में होल हो गया है, वो भी हमारा ही कारण है। और उसके जितने भी हमारे यहाँ से गैसेस इमिट होती हैं, उसके कारण से ओजोन लेयर को भी नुकसान पहुंचता है। और ओजोन लेयर को नुकसान पहुंचने से क्या होता है कि वहां से जो अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज हैं वो डायरेक्ट धरती पे आ जाती हैं। और मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में इंक्लूडिंग ऑस्ट्रेलिया, कुछ रीजन्स ऐसे हैं जहाँ पर कि होल ज्यादा है और वहां पर अल्ट्रावायलेट स्किन कैंसर और अदर टाइप की बीमारियां करती है। तो इसको भी हमको समझना है। और ये दिन इसीलिए है ताकि इनको समझें और उस हिसाब से कुछ उपाय ढूंढें। ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, क्लाइमेट चेंज, हर ट्रेन, हर मॉल और हर घर लगभग सबके पास एयर कंडीशनिंग है। तो इतने एयर कंडीशनिंग के का जो दुष्प्रभाव होगा, जो गैसेस रिलीज होती हैं, जो वहां से हीट जनरेट होती है, वो सब एटमॉस्फेयर में जाती है। और इस तरह से हमने इसको और अधिक अपनी सुविधा के लिए हमने धरती माता को बर्बाद कर दिया है। इसको भी नियंत्रित करना चाहिए। हमको नेचर के साथ रहने की सलाह देनी चाहिए और खुद भी रहना चाहिए नेचुरल एटमॉस्फेयर में ही। जैसे हमारे ऋषि मुनि रहते हैं, वो अपने नेचर में रहते हैं, इवन वो तो वस्त्र भी नहीं पहनते हैं। पूरे नेचर के साथ तालमेल करके जो रहेगा, उनको इस तरह का प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी कि उनको एसी चाहिए, उनको ये चाहिए। तो ये इवन फ्रीज में घड़े का पानी की परंपरा थी, जब से फ्रीज आए हर घर में फ्रीज है, तो उसका जितने भी गैसेस रिलीज होते हैं तो वो सब हमको ग्लोबल वार्मिंग की तरफ धकेलती है। तो इस पर भी हमको देखना है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आपने देखा होगा कि डिजास्टर्स आजकल सभी जगह हो रहे हैं। और जापान में हुआ, और इसमें क्या कहते हैं चेरनोबिल में हुआ। ये सब जो है एटॉमिक जो हमारे पास हथियार हैं, उनके थ्रू प्रकृति का विनाश होता ही है, मनुष्य का भी विनाश होता है। तो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आप देखेंगे कि अभी केदारनाथ में फ्लड्स आए थे और क्लाउड बस्ट होता है, ये सब पहले नहीं होते थे, ये इधर ज्यादा होने लगे जब से इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन और जब से हमने रोड कंस्ट्रक्शंस और हैवी व्हीकल्स और हैवी जो हमने इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स यूज करने शुरू कर दिए, तो वाइब्रेशन हुए हैं। और डैम बनाया है, तो डैम में लोकल कंडेंस इवोपरेट होता है और लोकली क्लाउड बन करके फिर क्लाउड बस्ट होता है। तो बहुत सारी चीजों को हमको समझना है। नेक्स्ट में देखेंगे आप ग्लेशियर ब्रेक हो रहे हैं, तो ये जो है जोशीमठ का एक बहुत बड़ा एग्जाम्पल है कि वहां पर वो पूरा शहर के नीचे ही पानी भर गया है और वहां से विस्थापित उनको होना पड़ा। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आप देखेंगे कि ये अभी यूक्रेन वार तो चल ही रहा है, अभी चल रहा है, लेकिन कितना मतलब उन लोगों को कितना डर के साए में रह रहे हैं। तो बिकॉज तो हमने धरती को का भी जो भी विनाश किया और साथ ही साथ मनुष्य का भी विनाश किया, और उसमें जो बायोडाइवर्सिटी उस कंट्री की उसका भी विनाश हुआ। तो हमको सोचना होगा कि क्या इस तरह का जीवन जीने लायक है? शुड वी लिव लाइक दिस एंड व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ लिविंग हियर? बहुत लोगों को ये भी नहीं पता। तो खैर ये सब एस्पेक्ट्स हैं। कंटिन्यूस लॉस जो बायोडाइवर्सिटी है उसके कुछ और रीजंस भी हैं, जैसे कि आप देखेंगे नेक्स्ट में इसकी पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ है। तो पॉपुलेशन तो अपना में बहुत बड़ी समस्या हो गई है, और कारें नंबर 2 पे, कारें इतनी समस्या हो गई कि कारों से पॉल्यूशन भी होता है, स्पेस ही नहीं है दुनिया में, और खासकर रोड पे इतनी रोडें हिंदुस्तान में बन रही हैं लेकिन कारें उससे अधिक बन रही हैं, और हर जगह जाम ही जाम लगता है। हर यात्रा में जो 4 धाम की यात्राएं होती हैं, जो हरिद्वार ऋषिकेश में होते हैं, वीकेंड पे फुल और पूरे सड़क होती है, जाम होती है। तो पॉपुलेशन अपने आप में एक प्रॉब्लम है, और वी हैव टू कंट्रोल, और इसके लिए रेमेडीज भी, रेमेडियल मेजर्स भी गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से हैं, लेकिन ये तब भी थमता नहीं है। नेक्स्ट आप देखेंगे हैबिटेट डिग्रेडेशन है, क्योंकि हम उसके लिए कहीं पर उसको प्लेन कर रहे हैं, कहीं पर फैक्ट्री के लिए बना रहे हैं, तो इस तरह से ये हैबिटेट डिग्रेड और डिस्ट्रक्ट करते रहते हैं। नेक्स्ट में आप देखेंगे चेंजिंग पैटर्न ऑफ लैंड यूज, जो तो डैम का कंस्ट्रक्शन कर दिया, तो डैम के कंस्ट्रक्शन से और ये अलग अलग प्रकार के जो हम लैंड यूज चेंज करते हैं, उन सब का भी इम्पैक्ट इस पे पड़ता है। नेक्स्ट में देखेंगे आप, हाँ, ये ओवर एक्सप्लॉयटेशन बायोलॉजिकल रिसोर्सेज। तो अभी तो ये कम हो गया है, लेकिन जो एक जमाना था कि जबकि फॉरेस्ट के फॉरेस्ट काट दिए जाते थे, खास करके अंग्रेज के समय में अंग्रेजों ने पूरे हिमालय के फॉरेस्ट, बहुत सारे यहाँ से देवदार की लकड़ियों को विदेश तक पहुंचाया, और उनके घर तो लकड़ी के ही बने होते हैं यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में मोस्टली। तो यहाँ से बहुत हुआ। उसके बाद हमारे जो रूलर्स थे, जो छोटे छोटे किंगडम थे, उन लोगों ने भी यूज किया, और उसके बाद फिर हमारे यहाँ स्मगलिंग होने लगी, और ये बहुत बड़ा धंधा चल पड़ा। लेकिन ये जो है अब थोड़ा गवर्नमेंट ने अंकुश किया है, लेकिन हम तब तक इन 100 सालों 200 सालों में इतना अधिक एक्सप्लॉइट कर चुके थे कि मतलब अब उसको ठीक करना अपने आप में एक चैलेंज है। लेकिन ये नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज का अब हमको नहीं करना चाहिए अननेसेसरी यूज। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आप देखेंगे कि पोचिंग एंड हंटिंग आज भी चलती है, पहले जमाने में भी चलती थी, और राजा और महाराजाओं के समय में ये बहुत ज्यादा प्रचलन में था। लेकिन उस तब से लेके अब तक बहुत सारे गवर्नमेंट के नॉर्म्स बने हैं, लेकिन चोरी छिपे ये काम और स्मगलिंग के माध्यम से ये काम, क्योंकि हाथी दांत का है, बाघ की खाल का है, इस प्रकार से ये चूंकि इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में इनकी बिक्री होती है, सांभर के जूते बनते हैं और बहुत सारे पश्मीना के सॉल्स बनते हैं। तो इस प्रकार से ये ट्रेड अभी भी चुपके चुपके चल रहा है, जिस पर कि अंकुश लगाना जरूरी है। नेक्स्ट में आप देखेंगे वाइल्ड लाइफ पोचिंग हो रही है। जैसे मैंने अभी आपको बताया, ये खाले बहुत महंगी बिकती हैं, तो इनको जो पोचर्स हैं, जो स्मगलर्स हैं, इस तरह से इसको एनिमल्स को मारते रहते हैं। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आप देखेंगे कि हैबिटेट डिस्ट्रक्शन, मैंने बताया था कि जंगल के जंगल काट दिए जाते हैं कि कहीं पर फैक्ट्री बनी है, या कहीं पर बांध बनना है, या कहीं पर रोड चौड़ीकरण होनी है। तो ऑलरेडी जो एग्जिस्टिंग बायोडाइवर्सिटी है उसको हैवी लॉस होता है, उसमें जितने भी एनिमल्स रहते हैं, जितने भी पक्षी घोंसले बनाते हैं, वो सब बर्बाद हो जाते हैं। तो नेक्स्ट वाले में आप देखेंगे कि हमने जगह जगह जो है रेल ट्रैक बनाना हमारी मजबूरी है, क्योंकि हम ह्यूमन बींग अपने आप को सुविधाजनक चाहते हैं। लेकिन उस चक्कर में क्या है, एलिफेंट का जो कॉरिडोर्स होते हैं वो डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं और एनिमल का किलिंग हो जाती है जब ट्रेन उस रास्ते से गुजरती है। तो इन चीजों को भी हमको देखना है और थोड़ा बहुत प्रयास गवर्नमेंट भी कर रही है। ह्यूमन वाइल्ड लाइफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट एक नया वो एक उभर के आया है कि हम आपस में अपने एनिमल से ह्यूमन की बहुत सारा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो गए, जिससे कि बायोडाइवर्सिटी लॉस होता है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आप देखेंगे कि ऑलरेडी जो है गांव से लेकर शहर तक गुलदार का खौफ, इस प्रकार से बहुत सारे न्यूज चैनल में आपको आते रहते हैं और कितनी भीड़ लगी हुई है। आप देख सकते हैं कि एक गुलदार पकड़ा गया या उसको देखने के लिए ये कैसे, और लोगों में दहशत रहती है। तो इस प्रकार से साइंटिफिक एप्टीट्यूड न हो करके हम दहशत में जी रहे हैं। तो हम किस तरह से इन चैलेंजेस को समझें और इनसे उभरें, इसके लिए जन जागरूकता का अभियान और फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट से कोऑर्डिनेशन, वाइल्ड लाइफ इंस्टीट्यूट या वाइल्ड लाइफ एक्सपर्ट के साथ बात करके इनका समाधान निकालना चाहिए। अदरवाइज इसी तरह की बहुत सारी खबरें नेक्स्ट पेज में भी आपको मिलेंगी। नेक्स्ट पेज की खबर है, देवप्रयाग क्षेत्र में नरभक्षी ढेर, गुलदार ने 2 बहनों को मार डाला, किशोरी पे गुलदार का हमला, नगीना। नेक्स्ट में देखेंगे ये वाला में भी सब गुलदार का ही ज्यादा आतंक इसमें दिख रहा है। खेतों में घूम रहे बाघों से किसानों में दहशत, हाथी ने किसान को पटका है, बंदर उजाड़ रहे फसल। तो इस प्रकार से फिर इसको जो ह्यूमन वाइल्ड लाइफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के कुछ सीन यहाँ पर हैं, ये कि किस प्रकार से बाघ या इसको चीता को इन्होंने पकड़ा है या लेपर्ड को, और किस प्रकार से लेपर्ड जो है नुकसान करता है। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में दिख जाएगा आपको। और फिर ह्यूमन बीइंग की भी जो है ह्यूमन बीइंग की बॉडी को भी नेक्स्ट चलाते रहिए। ये अपना आप ही दृश्य मतलब सेल्फ एक्सप्रेशन खुद ही दे रहे हैं अपना। तो इस प्रकार से आप देखेंगे कि आगे चलिए, आगे आगे चलाते रहिए। ये ह्यूमन एंड वाइल्ड लाइफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के वो हैं क्लिप्स हैं जो कि खुद ही समझ में आपको आ रहे हैं कि किस प्रकार से हम वन्य जीवन के साथ अत्याचार भी कर रहे हैं और दुर्भाग्य से वन्य जीवन हमारे साथ भी जो है वो कर रहा है, कन्फ्लिक्ट में है। तो एक्चुअली जो कन्फ्लिक्ट का इम्पैक्ट क्या है कि सोशल इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ह्यूमन वाइल्ड लाइफ है, क्योंकि हम इनसिक्योरिटी हो जाती है लोगों में एनिमल के, जो वाइल्ड एनिमल्स के प्रति। इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट भी है, हमारी फसलों को खा जाते हैं, क्रॉप को डैमेज होती है, नीलगाय है, जंगली सुअर है, और इस प्रकार से बहुत सारे एनिमल्स हैं, मंकी हैं, इवन पीकॉक ऑल्सो। पीकॉक भी जो नया सीड होता है उसको भी खा जाता है, सीडलिंग को भी खा जाता है। पॉलिटिकल इम्पैक्ट भी होता है, किस रीजन में बहुत सारे बंदर हैं, किस रीजन में बहुत वो हैं, तो वहाँ के एमपी पे, वहाँ के एमएलए पे भी इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है कि भाई तुम कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो। तो इस प्रकार से ये सब चीजें इसके इम्पैक्ट हैं। लेकिन गवर्नमेंट के पास इसके लिए कोई बहुत बढ़िया प्लानिंग अभी तक इमर्ज होके नहीं आई है, या तो हमारे पास वाइल्ड लाइफ एक्सपर्ट्स की रायें उतना अंजाम तक नहीं पहुंची हैं, या फिर गवर्नमेंट उनकी जो ओपिनियन है, उनके रिकमेंडेशंस हैं, उसको लागू नहीं कर पाते हैं। नेक्स्ट में देखेंगे मतलब तब इसीलिए हमको लगता है कि therefore we need to conserve the beauty of the nature by understanding the science behind every cause। अगर हम वाइल्ड लाइफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का कॉज नहीं ढूंढेंगे तब तक हम वाइल्ड लाइफ की जो ब्यूटी है, उसके जो प्रेजेंस है, उसका जो विचरण है, हिरन जंगल में घूम रहा है, बाघ जंगल में घूम रहा है, उस ब्यूटी को अप्रिशिएट नहीं कर पाएंगे। तो हमको काउज को समझना है और उसके रिसर्च भी करनी है। जिनका इंटरेस्ट है दे शुड गो फॉर रिसर्च। ओके, तो अब इसमें हम देखते हैं कि नेक्स्ट वाली स्लाइड में कि किस प्रकार से एनिमल्स अपनी ब्यूटी मतलब अपने सिस्टम में किस प्रकार से एक दूसरे को लव करते हैं, केयर करते हैं और एक दूसरे से रहते हैं। तो ये जब एनिमल ऐसे प्यार से, नेक्स्ट इसमें चलाते रहिए तो वीडियो है, तो इस प्रकार से जब ये हम देखेंगे तो ये ऑटोमेटिकली सेल्फ एक्सप्लेन्ड है ये। नेक्स्ट, हाँ नेक्स्ट हमारा अगर हम या और हमारा इंडियन लिटरेचर में अगर हम देखें तो हमारे पास पोएट कालिदास हुए हैं और वाल्मीकि हुए हैं। इन लोगों ने राजहंस के ऊपर और सारस के ऊपर अपनी कविताओं में इसका जिक्र किया है, अपने ग्रंथों में इनका जिक्र किया है। तो ये जो पिक्चर है ये राजहंस की पिक्चर है जो हिमालय मानसरोवर लेक से इंडिया के डिफरेंट वेटलैंड्स में आता है और हिमालय के एवरेस्ट को पार करके आता है। तो इससे लोगों ने ये समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं जो कोरोना काल में कि कैसे ये इतनी हाइट पे मिनिमम ऑक्सीजन को लेकर के, तो जबकि हाइट पे तो बहुत कम ऑक्सीजन होती है तो भी ये फ्लाइट करके आ जाता है। तो दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट। इस पे काम जारी है कि मिनिमम ये ऑक्सीजन के प्रेजेंस में अपने को सर्वाइव ही नहीं करता, फ्लाइट करके इंडिया में आ जाता है और एवरी ईयर आ रहा है। तो ये इसकी खासियत है, इस पे काम हो रहा है। सारा स्क्रीन नेक्स्ट वाला जो है ये इसका क्रोच बध हुआ था, इसके ऊपर वाल्मीकि रामायण, इसके प्रथम वाल्मीकि जो रामायण लिखी गई तो उसमें पहला श्लोक क्रोच बध के बारे में ही है। तो इस प्रकार से नेचर में हम जितने भी एनिमल्स हैं, जैसे कि यही वाला जो नेक्स्ट आपका एक वैक्टल है, खंजन है, इसमें मैथिली शरण गुप्त ने लिखा हुआ है अपने इसके जो नेत्र हैं ये लक्ष्मण के नेत्रों से तुलना की गई है कि बहुत सुंदर नेत्र हैं और अयोध्या में ये आए हुए हैं और ये जो है लक्ष्मण का संदेश लेके आए। तो इन्होंने बहुत अच्छा इसको अपने कविता में लिखा हुआ है। तो इस प्रकार से नेक्स्ट जो है ये आपने चातक दिखाया क्या है?
सर वीसी मैम हमारे साथ जुड़ चुकी हैं सर। हम कंक्लूड करके फिर वीसी मैम का लेक्चर लेते हैं।
ओके फाइन आई एम गोइंग टू कंक्लूड, नो प्रॉब्लम, है ना। तो जिसे चाहता ओके आप स्लाइड्स आके बढ़ाते जाइए। ओके आई थिंक इसको एक आधा दिखा दीजिए। दिस इज एन इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट ऑफ द एनिमल बिहेवियर और इवोल्यूशन कैसे इवॉल्व हुआ है ना। ये अपने आप में भी
is living in a perpetual state of near starvation. In fact, its metabolism is so fast, it needs to fuel up on nectar over 1,000 times a day. It can't stop feeding for a moment. All day is a race against time.
ओके ठीक है, नेक्स्ट कर लीजिए। ओके हाँ, therefore we need to learn sharing and caring from animals। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में आपको दिख जाएगा। इसको आधा मिनट दिखा दीजिए। अपने आप में भी खुद ही पता चल सकता है कि एनिमल कितना एक दूसरे का केयर करते हैं और एनिमल से हमको सीखना है कि हमको एक दूसरे का केयर करना है और इस तरह से अर्थ में रह करके हम अर्थ को समझ सकते हैं। जब हम एक दूसरे को प्यार करेंगे, धरती माता को प्यार करेंगे, ठीक है। हाँ, ये हमने मैसेज दे दिया, वी नीड टू केयर अबाउट आवर मदर अर्थ एज टॉट बाय द वाल्मीकि। तो अवर जो वैदिक लिटरेचर है उसमें भी इस चीज को दिखाया गया है। माता भूमि पुत्रो अहम पृथ्व्या। तो इस प्रकार से ये हमारा संदेश ऑलरेडी हमारा है और अंत में हम आपको थैंक यू कहना चाहेंगे। इसको आधा मिनट दिखा दीजिए, उसके बाद ऑटोमेटिकली थैंक यू हो जाएगा। ओके Okay, thank you so much.
Yes. Over to you, Ashtami. Please go ahead.
We are truly grateful to have you with us today. Your insight and words encouraged us to renew our commitment to protect our planet. Now we are truly honored to welcome our Vice Chancellor, Ma'am, Professor Vimla Gai, Ma'am, whose leadership and commitment to sustainability inspire us all. Ma'am, your presence today encourages us to think about our responsibilities. I would like to invite you, ma'am, please address us and give few words on Earth Day celebration.
हेलो गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन। आप सभी लोगों को वैश्विक पृथ्वी दिवस की बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं। Though you are all celebrating the World Earth Day in the form of research writing, data analysis, and all such things which are more related to your academics than to the Earth Day, but I would like to connect the both. You might have had very good lectures today. I would only like to say that whenever you write, use less of paper, more of your computer. Though e-waste will be generated at the end, but you can always separate it when there are agencies which can separate it, and we can still be benefited with that. Less of e-waste will be harmful for us. And if we are using more paper, that means we are cutting more trees. We are not sowing, we are not growing so many trees as many papers we are using, like tissue paper also we are using and throwing. So better is that we start writing at some occasions. That means in the examination hall, the answer books have to be written, of course. But for several things, we can avoid excessive usage of paper, or we can reuse the paper as well. So I would again come back to your data analysis and writing the research projects, writing research papers. So each one of you belongs to a different discipline. Not easy for all of you to be combined under one certain way of writing. But I would say that, for example, if you belong to science, the type of journal that you would prefer for the type of work that you are performing, you must be able to, first of all, select that journal on the basis of type of work. Reading some of the papers in the current journals, current issues, you will find out which is the right journal for you, where you has appeared, say 10 years ago. Don't ever think that today also it will be accepted in the same journal. ये हो नहीं सकता कि आपने 10 साल पहले का जर्नल देख लिया और आपने कहा कि ये तो इस तरह के बहुत पेपर छापते हैं, हमने भी ये काम कर लिया है, हम भी छाप रहे हैं. So this is not going to be done. आज की डेट में उसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं बची. 10 साल पुराना हो चुका वो. अब आपको कोई नई चीज बतानी है या उसमें कुछ नया ऐड करना है. तो जब आप रिसर्च पेपर लिखें तो सबसे पहले टाइटल पर जोर दें. टाइटल क्या है? Does it explain the result of your work, or it is like thesis? Some studies, certain studies on such and such thing, effect of such and such thing on such and such. I'm sure that this kind of papers will not be accepted by any journal now. आप कहीं भी अच्छी जगह पर छापना चाहते हैं तो ये तो मैकेनिज्म बिल्कुल भूल जाइए. आपको रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड ही टाइटल रखना पड़ेगा. What you get after your research. तो आपकी रिसर्च में अगर कुछ आउटकम आया है, that outcome should be attractive enough for the journals to accept that, because it will go to the reviewers, and the reviewers should be apprised of, should be already knowing which is the current way, current trend of research work, and which should उनका भी स्टेक्स होती हैं. वो ये जानते हैं कि अगर कुछ चलता फिरता आर्टिकल उन्होंने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया या उसमें करेक्शंस के लिए उसको नहीं बोला तो उनका जो स्टैंडर्ड है वो गिर जाएगा जर्नल का, और वो भी अपनी रिव्यूअरशिप खो सकते हैं. इसलिए बहुत जरूरी है कि हम रिसर्च आर्टिकल लिखते हुए ये ना सोचें कि हम कॉलेज में हैं, कि हम यूनिवर्सिटी में हैं. व्हाट वी शुड थिंक अबाउट इज व्हाट इज आवर वर्क. डज इट सॉल्व सम करंट प्रॉब्लम? Is it addressing some current issue in an outcome-based manner? Unless it is doing so, the basic principles are no more being accepted in common journals. Your writing must include the applications. और applications ही फिर उसमें दिखाई पड़ेंगी जो आपकी टाइटल में जाएंगी. पूरा राइटअप जितने भी वर्ड्स में जितने भी हाईलाइट जो आपकी हेडिंग्स हैं जिसमें जाना है, if you are not looking into the depth of it, again you'll be losing it. और जैसे अभी हम लोग अर्थ डे का भी सेलिब्रेशन करके आ रहे हैं, हम लोग समझते ही नहीं है कि अर्थ डे का मतलब खाली अर्थ बनाकर और उसके चारों ओर दिया जलाकर खुश हो जाना नहीं है. अर्थ डे का मतलब भी है, देयर आर मीनिंग्स टू इट, कि हमें ये देखना है कि द अर्थ रिमेन्स एज अ प्लैनेट वेयर लाइफ एग्जिस्ट्स. अगर वो हम नहीं सोच पाए, then our studies, our understanding of the world, real world, is incomplete or has no meaning. तो हमें अपने आप को दोनों चीज से जोड़ना पड़ेगा. अर्थ डे से भी उसके बारे में लिख रहे हैं, पढ़ रहे हैं, कुछ भी काम कर रहे हैं. So whatever you are working on as a research scholar or as a research guide, you should know that the topic which you are selecting must be conserving earth, must be conserving the society, must be beneficial rather than being harmful for some. Even in defense, people are working, but that is, some bioweapons are also there, some kind of weaponry is being created, but every time the best use of it is explained and displayed. The way you can think that when the knife was found out, the knife could have a number of uses, and there can be different shapes, sizes of knives, different functions, but then you should be sure for using it for the advantage of the human being as well as for the earth, sustenance. If you are not using it, then again that becomes wasteful activity, much criticized it will be. तो आप लोगों के लिए मेरा तो सुझाव यही है, जो अभी रिसर्च कर रहे हैं या कर चुके हैं, अब गाइड्स हैं, तो हम सब लोग ये सोचकर चलें that we are a part of this nature. We cannot separate it. We are inseparable part of the nature. So if we destroy the nature, we ourselves will be destroyed. So our issues, our problems, be it any subject, should be such to conserve the society, conserve the earth, conserve water, conserve environment, conserve soil, everything needs to be conserved. Just like conservation of human being is there. Conservation doesn't mean that the next generation will not come up or one generation will never go. That means that senescence or aging will occur to one generation and the next generation will come up and get established. We are not disturbing the natural plan of it. Instead, we are trying to push it to the best way, in the best way. हमारी कोई भी कोशिश, हमारी कोई भी रिसर्च ऐसी ना हो जिसमें हम नेचुरल प्लान को इतना डिस्टर्ब कर दें, जैसे अब क्लाइमेट चेंज को हम फेस कर रहे हैं. और अब आप तो देख ही रहे हैं, आज ही के न्यूज़पेपर में भी था दैट पिछले 25 साल का 26 साल का रिकॉर्ड टूट गया. स्नो में इतना स्नोफॉल कम हो रहा है अब की बार. तो सोच लीजिए कि पूरे सीजन में, सीजन ही खत्म हो गया, अब तो अप्रैल जा रहा है, and we didn't have enough snowfall. So where will be our snow line? Where will be pure water resources? What will happen to all of them? और पहाड़ में तो पानी और कोई है ही नहीं, यही आइसबर्ग्स हैं जिनसे पानी मिलता है उनको, तो वो पानी कहाँ से आएगा पहाड़ में? और पहाड़ में नहीं होगा तो मैदान में कहाँ से आएगा? तो आप लोग फिर से बार बार मैं एक ही बात कह रही हूँ आपको. अभी ये जो दिखला रहे थे डॉक्टर पंकज, it was a wonderful video clip which I saw. That is also for conservation of nature, that it is conservation of ecosystem. It's the conservation of biome. If you conserve that, sure you are going to see the earth in its right form, the seasons coming and going in their right form, and your life also going smoothly on and on. So I wish you all a very happy Earth Day. Although the Earth is crying, this planet is in very bad shape right now. But when I'm saying happy Earth Day, I believe that all of you will do something together so that the Earth will be saved from the havoc we have created. So for everyone, see, there are some raised hands. I don't know why. And if they want to ask me something, I can answer. Mr. Asad is saying something. And Archasvi is also saying something. If you want to say, please say it loud. आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं असद या अर्चस्वी? विनय, all of you have raised hands.
हाँ जी मैम.
हाँ बोलिए.
क्या आप लोग मुझे सुन पा रहे?
मैं सुन पा रही हूँ.
अब मैम मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि जो हमारा ट्रेडिशनल हमारा जो लाइफस्टाइल था, अगर हम थोड़ा उसको भी धीरे धीरे फिर से अपनाएं तो उससे बहुत सारी चीजें हम सॉल्व हो सकती हैं. क्योंकि अभी जो मॉडर्न चीजें हैं या हम अपना कल्चर भूल गए हैं और नई चीजों के ऊपर जो हमारी डिपेंडेंसी बन गई है, तो हम कोशिश करें कि जो नई टेक्नोलॉजी है उसके साथ साथ हम जो अपने पुराने जो हमारा लाइफस्टाइल था तो उसको भी हम साथ में लेकर के चले, क्योंकि उसमें बहुत सारी
यही
चीजें
होना
हम सॉल्व
है.
कर सकते हैं.
आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. तरक्की तो करनी ही है, प्रगति हर चीज में हो रही है, इवोल्यूशन भी हो रहा है, पर हमारा पेस खराब था और उस इवोल्यूशन में हम ये भूल गए कि हमें बैलेंस रखना है नेचर के साथ. हमने वो बैलेंस नहीं रखा. हमें बैलेंस रखते हुए आगे बढ़ना होगा. किसी भी जगह आपको कुछ कंट्रीज अभी भी वर्ल्ड में ऐसे मिलेंगे जिन्होंने अपनी नेचुरल ब्यूटी को खत्म नहीं होने दिया, नेचर को अपनी जगह पर रहने दिया है और तरक्की के नाम पर वो समझौते नहीं किए जिससे केवल जीडीपी बढ़े और उनकी प्रकृति मर जाए. तो हमें वहां भी देखना चाहिए कि हम अपनी प्रगति के चक्कर में केवल हम ये सोच रहे हैं कि शायद ह्यूमन बीइंग ही रहेगा इस प्लेनेट पर और कोई नहीं, पर ऐसा नहीं है ना. हम जानते हैं कि हमारी डिपेंडेंस है प्रकृति के साथ. टेक्नोलॉजी को प्रकृति के साथ ऐसे जोड़ के चलें कि वो इको फ्रेंडली टेक्नोलॉजी हो. टेक्नोलॉजी जरूर हो बट इसको इको फ्रेंडली बनाए और उसके साथ ही हम आगे बढ़े तो डेफिनेटली हम लोग तरक्की करेंगे. हमारी रिसर्चेस का एम भी ऐसा ही होना चाहिए कि हम उसकी एप्लीकेशंस को जाने समझें और उसी तरफ से काम करें जिससे हमारी लोकल प्रॉब्लम्स भी सॉल्व हों, ग्लोबल प्रॉब्लम्स सॉल्व हों और हम वर्ल्ड को खराब ना करें. जो खराब होता जा रहा है रहने के लिए वो ना हो. इसीलिए हम अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स का और सॉल्यूशंस का दोनों का बैलेंस बनाकर चलें. बिल्कुल ठीक कहा अर्चस्वी आपने. यही मेरा भी उद्देश्य था कि हम वर्ल्ड अर्थ डे पर इन चीजों को ध्यान रखें. सब पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं और हर पढ़े लिखे को इस बात का ध्यान रखना बहुत जरूरी है. सो आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट. आप लोगों का ये सेमिनार अभी आगे भी चलता रहेगा एंड अभी तो शायद मेरे ख्याल से कुछ स्पीकर्स रह भी गए होंगे, तो आप उन सबको जोड़ें, जोड़कर इसमें अच्छे रेजोल्यूशंस लाएं. एक वेबिनार हो रहा है, उसके रेजोल्यूशंस अगर अच्छे नहीं निकले तो ये सिर्फ खाली खाना पूर्ति होगी कि आप लोगों ने बात करी लेकिन बात का आउटकम नहीं आया. और आज बिना आउटकम के किसी भी चीज का कोई महत्व नहीं है. ठीक है. सो अगेन there was a meeting going on and I have joined your meeting here. You might be hearing some voices coming from the background. I have to join it back. So I take your leave from here. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Ishaka.
Now I would like to take a moment to sincerely thank our respected Vice Chancellor Ma'am for taking the time to share her valuable thoughts and insight with us. Now I welcome Dr. Sudarshan Mishra sir for vote of thanks. He is an assistant professor in agriculture botany department, Gochal Mahavidyalaya, Rampur, Manihar. Welcome sir. Share your views, please.
Thank you, Vaishnavi. Good afternoon to all the members, respected Chief Guest Ma'am, distinguished speakers, esteemed faculty, participants, and everyone else present in the meeting. On the behalf of organizing committee, I express my heartfelt gratitude to all those who have contributed to the success of today's program. Foremostly, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to most respected Professor Vimla Y. Ma'am, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shakumbhari University, for gracing us with her presence despite her busy schedule and for her unwavering support. Her leadership continues to inspire and guide us towards new academic heights. And in fact, under her leadership, we are progressing in our activities towards a better, socially responsible and outcome-based academic institution. A special thanks to our distinguished speakers, Dr. Datta, for sharing invaluable insights on dissertation writing, Professor Singh, who enlightened us with his knowledge on data analysis using R software, which is a very important requisite in today's times while publishing high-end research papers. We thank Professor Millie Pant for contributing to the depth of knowledge shared during this workshop. And a special mention to Dr. Dinesh Bhatt, who delivered a special lecture on World Earth Day, focusing on earth and environmental wellness. Your message was really thought-provoking, sir, and inspiring as well. I would also like to acknowledge the contribution of our organizing committee members, especially Professor Vinod Kumar, sir, program coordinator, Dr. Pankaj Kumar, Dr. Richa, Dr. Sandeep, all other faculty, volunteers who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the smooth execution of this event. To all the participants, thank you for your active participation and enthusiasm. We hope you found the workshop insightful and beneficial to your academic pursuits. A big thank also to our partners at the Society for Agro-Environmental Sustainability, Dehradun, for their invaluable support in making this workshop a reality. Your commitment to sustainable development and environmental conservation is truly commendable. As we conclude, I encourage everyone to, as ma'am also suggested, I encourage everyone to reflect on the knowledge shared today, the things, the matters on which we were sensitized today, and put into practice in your respective fields, in your respective routine lives, academic pursuits and everything. A small bit also matters much. We must remember, as our Vice Chancellor ma'am was saying, that we have borrowed this environment from our future generations. We have not inherited it from our previous generations. So we have to behave responsibly as it is a borrowed thing. So with this, I once again thank everyone associated with this event. Also, please remember to fill the feedback forms and stay tuned for your certificates regarding which just you will be informed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Now it's time for valedictory. So I welcome Dr. Pankaj Kumar, sir. He is an assistant professor in Department of Environmental Studies, MSc Saharanpur. Welcome, sir, and share your views, please.
Thank you, Ishaka. And thank you once again to all the participants. Please note that certificates will be sent to your registered email address within the next 7 days. We will also share a feedback form shortly, and we request you all to kindly complete it and help us in improving our future events. And as we conclude our workshop, I thank everyone who contributed in this workshop and all the participants who joined from across India. And we also have some international participants. We all thank them for joining us. And now you may please leave the meeting, and wishing you a pleasant day ahead. Thank you so much. And as one of the participants asked, feedback form will be shared in the chat box. Actually, we will share the feedback form on both the WhatsApp group as well as on your registered email address. So please regularly check your email address and our WhatsApp group for the future updates. Thank you so much.
Also, Pankaj, if I may interrupt for a bit, it was a really good event, and I would encourage the participants to please provide feedback, because we tend to make reports of every event that we carry out, and the feedback offers a great help in compiling the report. So I encourage every participant to please take a moment and fill the feedback form, please.
Exactly, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So thank you so much again. You may now leave the meeting.